Okay, Rudy. Hey, we cannot have this going through. We can't have this going through. Sorry, Rudy. Hey Rudy, sorry about that. Studio was having a hard time picking that key up. We are in a full screen bumper right now. I will count you in. Going from an intro to a wide to you. I have Mermaid. She's wanting to bring in Laura Loomer as soon as we can.
Do you want? We're asking
Huh? We're delayed 1 hour? Are we? Well, I just, they're sending us a feed right now, but it's just people piling into the event center, so.
So no, he doesn't want her right away.
No, not right away. Not right away.
Not right away?
Not right away.
Not right away.
Any idea, Don? I mean, not Don, sorry.
Not right away.
Talk to Maria.
Well, we got some people lined up now. Tuberville's coming over after this. What time do you got Bernie Kerik. Tuberville is coming at 15 or 20 minutes.
Okay.
So, Laura Loomer's on her way here right now.
In that chaos, I went to him.
You went to
We
him?
just showed him sitting there.
Perfect. Laura Loomer's on her way right now.
So, Denver,
Mermaid said she's going to be
you can deal with that. Okay, Rudy.
Wendy Rogers.
We are ready to get started here.
So what do we want to do? Do we want to put Laura on?
Okay, so I will give you an update as to what's going on with the RNC. People are just pouring in right now. They have not started anything. Nothing has been said. I will give you a cue as to when we will be taking to that, and I'll just put you in a 2-box. So we are going to get started. Intro, and then coming to you. Coming to you in 3,
I'm going to try
2,
to make it happen.
1.
Go get me, Dr.
Cue him. Rudy. Cue. Can you hear me, Rudy?
Go ahead.
You're live.
Good evening. This is Rudy Giuliani, and we are beginning our coverage of the Republican National Convention. Soon I'll be joined by Mike and Emerald and many, many guests. Dr. Maria is going to be with us shortly. It's quite a lineup of guests who are involved in all different aspects of this most important of all elections that's coming up. But I thought I would take a few minutes at the beginning before it all gets started to take you through the most extraordinary thing that happened this weekend, and the most extraordinary thing that happened since the attempt to assassinate President Ronald Reagan. To me, it has tremendous meaning. First of all, Donald Trump has been a personal friend for over 35 years. So to watch that, and I watched it on television like many of you did, and not know what happened to him was frightening. also having lived through and been in charge of the Hinckley case. That's the case of the man who attempted to assassinate Ronald Reagan, going way back to 1981. When I saw him shot, even though it appeared to be a grazing wound, I have had the experience with President Reagan that he was taken into the car by the Secret Service, fully expecting that it was just going to be a rather non-problematic, non-lethal wound. He wasn't in great pain. He got pushed into the car. They decided to take him to the White House because it was such a minor injury. And within a few minutes of heading toward the White House, he complained to the Secret Service that he had a tremendous pain on his side. He said, "Boy, you guys must have pushed me really hard." And as he said that, blood started coming out of his mouth and out of his chest. And he not only had a very bad wound, he had a wound that, much like what we went through with President Trump, was that much away from killing him, that much away from his heart and lungs. And the surgery was a life and death surgery and very, very difficult. And of course, Ronald Reagan came through it. You all know what happened on Saturday. The president was giving a speech in front of an extraordinarily happy and overjoyed audience to have him there. And then all of a sudden, tragedy struck. Someone attempted to kill him and was very, very close to doing so. There are many ways to analyze this. You know, had he not moved, had the man been just a little bit better a shot, he did succeed in killing Mr. Campatori, who was a very, very fine man, and we'll talk about him in a moment. He shouldn't be forgotten in the wake of this catastrophic event, which of course happens, thank God, rarely in our history. But unfortunately, and this is what frightens me, when it does happen, they seem to come in. They seem to reawaken something. Now let's go through this because as I focused on it while it was happening, I was extremely concerned about the lack of security. Now I'm going to tell you, this has not come from an amateur. It comes from someone who handled the Hinckley case, helped to advise and revise the standards after that. And then as United States attorney, prosecuted cases involving threats on the president. And then as mayor of New York, had to prepare the city numerous times for visits by Bill Clinton and George Bush. And the New York City Police Department takes on the largest role of any police department when there's a visiting president. We also have it replicated with 80 or 90 heads of state visiting New York every year, sometimes twice a year. Many of them people who are targets, very, very intense targets for assassination. So I would say, without doubt, and please excuse the local pride, that you want to talk about executive protection of very dangerous people. The New York City Police Department probably has considerably more experience than the Secret Service because it does it regularly. The Secret Service does it really for one person. New York City Police Department does it for 90 people, 100 people, some of whom are, like, God forbid, when someone like Arafat would come to America, or terrorists that are allowed into the UN that have to be guarded. So the critiques you're going to hear now come from a professional. And I've also gone over it with several people who are experts on this. Joe Biden made a decision very early in his presidency that I have never gotten an answer to. He decided he was going to take the civilians out, or rather the soldiers out of Afghanistan before the civilians. In a country surrounded by terrorists, 4 main groups who had bitter hostilities toward the civilians because many of those civilians helped the Americans. And exactly why he did that makes no sense. Now, he gave up Bagram Air Base as well, which was only 400 miles from China. That makes sense to me, because after all, I'm the one who investigated him and the one who brought out his criminality originally. There's a definite connection between giving up an air base 400 miles from China by Joe Biden and the incredible amount of money, $31 million, his family got from China. Now, you're just not going to convince me there wasn't a connection between the two, because there was no reason to give up the airbase except to hurt the security of the United States. But this decision about taking the troops out before the civilians is almost impossible to understand. Here's what was impossible to understand about this. When you have a crowd of people like this, and you have a tall building or 2 or 3 or a large structure that goes up into the sky, you feel very fortunate because you're going to get a better look at the crowd. Meaning, on the building in which they had no police or Secret Service, it offered a tremendous vantage point to observe the crowd, where you would get a much better view of someone acting strangely, someone acting suspiciously, someone acting anyway. And now this was done routinely in New York in protection of dignitaries, and it was done in catching criminals. It's the way we straightened out Times Square. I'll explain that another time. But basically the idea is you put the police up here, the people are down there, and you get a much better view than being stuck in a crowd in which you just see the people around you. And then, of course, we do have things called, radios and walkie-talkies. Even back then we did. And you communicate. You communicate with Jack. You say, Jack, there's a guy right behind you. He's acting very suspicious. He seems like he's reaching for a gun. Go take a look at it. So there's no explanation for why there was nobody up on that roof. So let's look at it now, because there's also no explanation for the amateurish way in which they handled him. I don't know what has happened to the Secret Service. Maybe it's the long length of time that they haven't had a serious attempt on a president, and they've gotten... This is not the same Secret Service that I remember in the 1980s and 1990s that I worked with to protect President Reagan, to protect President Clinton, and to protect President Bush. The things some of them did would be grounds for immediate dismissal from the service. And if I were in charge like I was then, they wouldn't come back to the Secret Service. This is not a game. There isn't room forever. You don't get a chance to do it twice. The life of the President of the United States is at stake. Whomever he is, or, in this case, the leading candidate for President of the United States and a former president. So let's take a look, if we can, at the footage. You'll remember it, I'm sure, but I'm going to stop it in places where we point out these problems.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
So let's stop it right there for a moment if we can. So at that point, when I looked at that, I said to myself, first, shocking as hell, right? But I said to myself, those appear to be wounds that grazed him, because they didn't knock him right down, and the way he went to his face. So obviously I didn't feel good about it, but I did feel that these were not going to be fatal. Then, of course, the Reagan experience came into my mind, and that if Reagan looked like superficial wounds for quite some time until he got in the car, and they actually were going to take him to the White House. And the historical thinking on that now is, had they taken him to the White House, And if that agent hadn't discovered that wound, Reagan had been dead. He'd have bled out. So immediately, and I said, I think both Ted and Dr. Maria were with me, I said to them, it looks like he'll be okay, but we got to worry, just in case. So then let's watch the rest, because when they take him up, they're supposed to surround him so you can't get another shot at him. So he did himself poke his face out. That you can't stop with a president. The rest of it shouldn't happen. And some of it has to do with some of these agents being too short. But let's take a look. Right there, stop. This should never happen. This should be shown in every Secret Service class and personal protection. There should be someone in front of him right now. You should not be able to see that face, because if you see that face, you can shoot that face. Now, there's no way to know at this point if it's one gunman, two gunmen, three, or five. That is an extraordinary breach of security. And I would imagine you might not realize that just from watching it. When I saw that, I will not tell you the word I uttered. But if this were back when I was in charge, I don't know if those agents would still be around. That man's face should not be exposed right now. They had plenty of time sitting down there to make sure that two tall guys were right in front of him, and we shouldn't be able to see him. Now, he's going to make that difficult by poking his head out later, but that they should try to stop that. But that, you understand, it's a president, and we've seen Reagan do it and Ford do it during his attempt. But this should not happen. So let's go ahead. Now stop again. You notice they tried to fix it. You notice that agent with the glasses on put his arm up in front of the president. The ability to shoot him now is considerably less. I mean, obviously this guy wasn't a sharpshooter. Thank God. This would be a heck of a shot for a sharpshooter. But putting the hand up really doesn't do any good, or the arm, because the bullet would go right through the arm. But in any event, at least as an attempt. That guy is using his head, saying, oh gosh, we had him exposed for about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds. So let's go ahead. Stop again. Now that he causes himself. And that tells you why he should be president of the United States. You don't need any more than that to see why that man should be president of the United States. What guts, what courage, and what consideration for his people. He knows his people are very upset. He knows they're very worried. He knows they're going to be concerned about his future. And he puts his hand up and he says, fight, fight. Meaning fight back. Fight back against this. This isn't what we want in America. We want to. They've ruined our America, and we got to win it back. We've become, in large part, in certain areas, a communist country. And here they were taking out the man who could change it. And it looks like, as quickly as you can, he makes the point: you're not taking me out. That's about as inspirational a moment as MacArthur leading his people up the hill and being the first one to die if anybody was going to die. Not a lot of people have guts like that. You never know what a man's going to do on the threat of death. Tells you about his heart, his soul. And I don't know, maybe I admire loyalty the most, or courage. But courage gives you the goosebumps, doesn't it? That is incredible what he's doing there. He just was an inch away from dying. Probably just for the first time realized he isn't going to die. And his first thought is, let's get those people out there to what about the morale of my people? Now, I'm going to tell you, this is not accidental. He did the same thing 8 years ago, just about, in Nevada, when a gun went off, or a gun was thought to be held by someone in a big rally in Nevada. The Secret Service heard the word gun yelled out, and they did essentially what you saw there, except they took him off the stage immediately. They tackled him I was actually surprised the way they tackled him. They tackled him like they were giving a furious tackle in a football game, and they got him right off the stage, and they were pushing him and pushing him. And I went with him, and he said, they stopped a second. He said, Mayor, they said, we're getting out of here right away. We never know what can happen. We're going. Let's go. And the president said, wait, Mayor, I'm not going. I want to see what happens here. I want to go back and see my people. And he referred to them as my people. And in fact, he did stay, and he did go out over the very, very strong objections to the Secret Service. And I sent him a note that night, because I think we went off in different directions. And I said, well, I knew you should be president. Now I've got no doubt. You've got it. What I meant was he had the courage to be president of the United States. And a president today needs a courage, because a lot of changes have to be made, and our world is at war. Remember, Donald Trump turned over this world peacefully to Joseph Biden. Joseph Biden is going to turn it back to him with at least 2 major wars that threaten to become world wars. That's extraordinary. That alone should result in his being defeated unanimously. Let's go ahead and watch the rest of this. What? Let's stop again. Let's just go back a little bit. Can we go back just a little bit to that last? Yeah, right here now. Just let's watch it. They have him actually protected. This would be the way you want to protect him. I mean, the back of the head is there, but it's moving. It would be very hard to get. In a perfect world, maybe it should be covered. But watch what he does he's not finished yet, inspiring the crowd. Let's play it out. Watch this here. The arm goes up. He turns around. Make sure they were pushing him hard, believe me. He had some injuries after this, not just from the attacker. Okay. Now, all of that left me watching it like something's happened to the Secret Service. The Secret Service I knew from the time of Hinckley, that I knew that worked with me when I was mayor in my police department. We actually, the New York City Police Department, do more security for a president than the Secret Service does. Now, consider why. Secret Service, it's about 12, 13, 14,000. NYPD's 40,000. And so we're an army and they're a little group. And we take over everything. And there are things in other cities you can't do because you don't have those numbers. But never, never, never at any time when we review this is there any excuse for that roof not being covered. It was about a football field away. So from the point of view of an excellent shot on the president, it was extraordinary. But even if they didn't think of that because they're getting lazy and they're getting stupid and whatever, they should have wanted someone up there to watch the crowd. And not one, 3, 4 people up there. The people, the agents in the crowd are limited by the people around them. The ones up high get to see what's going on. So let's take a look at the layout for a minute right here. That's the layout of it. And I'm going to try to point at this for you. Let me just turn this so you get it, okay? So that's where the president was, right? People are all here, crowded, as you remember, crowded as not much room to move. Even from the point of view of security and the police, a difficult situation to really pick people out because you're kind of hemmed in. So you might see the 3 people around you, but not the 5 people further away from you. But there is this vantage point over here. There's this vantage point over here where you can get a view of it from up high. And it's that vantage point that wasn't covered. And then, of course, we have these reports from civilians who say they saw a man with a gun going up there. They warned the police about it. A policeman followed him up, got his face over the ridge or the lip of the roof, and went back down. Well, when we come back, we'll finish with that.
I wasn't ready.
Oh.
So I don't want you talking to nobody.
Now, meaning before I finished?
Yeah, Frank's speech is
But before I finished? How far before?
just minutes. I
Okay.
came right over here.
Okay.
I'm looking out for you.
Okay. You want to get...
We're working on Bernie. There's a Zoom link issue, but we're working on it.
and how are we doing with... hey, Dominic, how are you?
How are you, Mr. Mayor?
Oh.
God bless you. But again, we will complete the mission President Trump first articulated in 2016 to make America great again. Thank you and God bless you.
That's the RNC right now. It was okay to let him finish. It's okay. I didn't... No, I didn't have a commercial queued up. No, I didn't know what was going on there because we don't have audio links to them. Sorry about that. But we can go back to him whenever, and...
Please welcome Chris Jansen.
Bernie? Yep. I'll count him in.
RNC top to bottom. Somebody put your hands in the air and scream, baby.
Okay, I'm going to count you in.
Number 3 winning and good fast. fishing and bush hogging overtime. I like sitting in the stand with a gun in my hand. I'm an all-American guy. I like the bone on a steak and a Waffle House steak. Seeing kids being raised right.
No, they're not. They're
I
off.
like a handshake deal and people that are real. I'm an all-American guy. I love F-250s, Alan Jackson's Little Bitty, and the beauty of a small town life. I like my chili in a bowl, Bob Seger, rock and roll, football on a Friday night. I love a cold beer can and the Leonard Skinner band and a woman that I hold all night. Yeah, I'm a pretty simple man, ain't too hard to understand. I'm an all-American guy. I like America's best and rowdy rednecks and blue silver suits and ties. I love Jesus and the hag and a girl who loves her dad. I'm an all-American guy. I love F-250s, Alan Jackson's Little Bitty, and the beauty of a small town life. I like my chili in a bowl, Bob Seger, rock and roll, football on a Friday night. I love a cold beer can and the Charlie Daniels band and a woman that I hold all night. Yes, I'm a pretty simple man, ain't too hard to understand. I want to hear you scream one time. I can't hear you. They're listening around the world. RNC, I said, let me hear you scream, baby. I love my Bass Pro Cap, love my country and my flag, and the ones who made the sacrifice. They're serving military time in the thin blue line. All-American guy. I love F-250s, Alan Jackson's Little Bitty, and the beauty of a small town life. I like my chili in a bowl, Bob Seger, rock and roll, football on a Friday night. I love a cold beer can and the Marshall Tucker band and a woman that I call my wife. Yeah, I'm a pretty simple man, ain't hard to understand. I'm an all-American guy. You know I'm a pretty simple man, I ain't too hard to understand. Just an all-American guy. That's right. I can't hear you, Milwaukee. Everybody stay on your feet. Let's get some fun action in here. It's RNC 2024, and we are here to party for America, baby. We're here to party for America, baby. With every hand in the air, all the way to the top, side to side. I got a question for you, all the way back from 2016. Can somebody please buy me a boat? Now sing it loud and proud, all the way over there. I can see you now. Well, I ain't rich, but I damn sure wanna be. Yeah, working like a dog all day ain't working for me. Oh, I wish I had a rich uncle that would kick the bucket and I was sitting on a pile like a Warren Buffett. I know everybody says money can't buy happiness, but it can buy me a boat. It can buy me a truck of gold. Yes, it can buy me a Yeti 110 house down with silver bullets. Oh, and I know what they say, money can't buy everything. Yeah, maybe so. Somebody sing it, buddy. Oh yeah. Now they call me the redneck, the white trash and blue. Yeah, well I could change all that if I had a couple $1 million. It's a root of all evil, and you can't fit a camel through the eye of a needle. I'm sure that's probably true, but it still sounds pretty cool. You can buy me a boat, you can buy me a truck to pull, you can buy me any 110 ice down with silver bullets. Whoa, and I know what they say, money can't buy everything. Yeah, maybe so. Come on, baby. But he can buy me a boat to float down on the water with a beer. Out here, the Powerball lotto is sitting on 100 mil. Yeah, that'll buy me a brand new rod and reel. Or he can buy me a boat. RNC, he can buy me a truck to pull it. Come on. He can buy me a Yeti 110 ice down with silver bullets. Oh, I know what they say. Money can't buy everything. Everybody said maybe so. Come on now. Money. Break it down, boys. Woo. You hear that? First day of the RNC in Milwaukee, and everybody is screaming really loud up in here. I can see your hands, everybody on your feet, let's go. Get them up, get them up. We say, hey, hey, oh, whoa. Let's say, woo, woo, woo. Get your hands going, let's go. Watch this. Concerts in this arena before. We might as well have a concert right now. The louder you get, the better I play. I said the louder you scream, the better we're gonna do. Let's go! I can't hear you! Let's go! We can get rowdier than that. Come on, it's 2024. We're here to party. While everybody's on their feet, by a show of hands, who feels blessed to be an American every single day of the week? I said by a show of hands and everybody out of their seat.
No.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. And here we are in Milwaukee, and I think hopefully you enjoyed that interlude. I have Dr. Maria with me to ask her some questions about this. As you can see, and as you saw from the film, the president turned his head right before the bullet hit him.
Yeah.
Had he not done it, it would have hit him straight in the face. Now, what it seems to me, are we talking an inch, doctor? Or
it would have been less than an inch. So I believe, through my own assessment of the films, that
one bullet passed him, and he heard it. He commented that he heard a whizzing sound. The second bullet is what hit him, piercing his ear. If his head was turned more towards the audience, it probably would have gone in his brain pan, and unfortunately, it'd be lights out
the
from
chances
there.
of death, because that's a very strong rifle and bullet, right?
Yeah, I happen to have the same gun.
It's a powerful gun, right?
Yeah, I have an AR-15 223 is what they call it. It's I love that gun. It's very powerful. And we do know, unfortunately, I hate talking about this, the victim that died had a head wound. The emergency physician who was in the crowd, who tended to him, said it was pretty instantaneous, that the bullet to the head had brain I don't want to be too graphic, but there was a lot of blood. He instantly died. Now, there are 2 other critically injured victims. I want to know more about. Maybe the family wants to remain private, and I respect that, but it's like, I can't stop thinking about those victims. When you think you've gone to a day of celebrating a man you believe in, a man who was president, will probably, hopefully, be president again.
I think it adds to the sorrow for the president.
Sure.
Well, I talked to him today, and first of all, he's in a remarkable state of mind for what he's just gone through.
He's definitely a brave man.
He is very, very sad for what happened, first to the innocent victims, and then even the shock and trauma to the people that were there. They'll never forget this.
Yeah.
I mean, they had. The idea that it was these 3 that were shot is just a matter of chance. It reminds me of September 11 with the innocent people going to work that day. And all of a sudden, they never get to go to work again.
Yeah,
this guy, Thomas Matthew Crooks, don't know much about him, other than he seemed to be a strange guy in high school.
Yeah, loner. He was bullied, allegedly. Classmates have come out and said that. Excuse me, Mayor. He, even though I've seen some television that said he was a registered Republican, that may be, but he definitely donated a small amount of money to a very progressive, radical organization. And,
radical, yeah.
Yeah.
Off the charts, radical, pretty close to communist.
Sometimes, Rudy, I get surprised how half the country doesn't have information. I was talking to somebody once in an airport, and he's been in this country. He wants to be an American citizen, and he said he can't get any attention. He's got a good job. And I said, why don't you fly to Mexico and come through the southern border? You'll get everything. And he laughed. He said, what are you talking about? He had no idea about the fact that since Joe Biden took office, there's over 10 million illegal aliens that have come through our southern border.
Yeah, I mean, extraordinary.
Yeah.
It's absolutely extraordinary.
Now, can you imagine if you watched MSNBC
and
or
it puts
CNN?
us in grave jeopardy.
Absolutely, and say those are the only channels you ever watch. I can assume this guy got radicalized because all he heard was rhetoric from these far left organizations, from our own president, President Biden, telling us that Donald Trump is Hitler, that MAGA group is a threat to democracy. What do you think about that, Mayor?
Well,
do you think
I think Biden went quite a bit further than that in saying that he should basically almost be a target. I mean, it's extraordinary some of the things that they said. Of course, they say that the Trump people used language, but not. It was incidental. This has been their campaign has been that he is an evil man that is going to destroy democracy in the United States. He can be a dictator, which of course is based on nothing.
No.
He did none of the things a dictator would do, and Biden has done the things a dictator would do.
It's all projection. People talk about that all the time. Everything they're doing, they project on Donald Trump or MAGA.
Now,
what is
Trump
wrong with wanting to make America great again anyway?
If Trump had said this and Biden had been shot, it would have been the headline. Just on last Monday, Biden said it's time to put Trump in a bullseye.
No. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, that may or may not be the cause of it, but You don't get away with saying something like that, except if you're Joe Biden. One of the reasons he's been such a terrible president is because he gets away with all this. Representative Dan Goldman, who I think is one of the worst additions to Congress in the last 10 years, and hopefully the people in New York would get him out, was interviewed in November on MSNBC, and he actually said Trump should be eliminated over his alleged role in the January 6, 2021 Capitol. Now, his alleged role there has never been even charged, much less proven.
Right.
It's all in
He had
his,
no
all
role
in his
in it.
mind. I was there on January 6th.
Well, you weren't at the Capitol.
No, I was there. I
You were at the
I gave a
speech.
speech, but then I
Yeah.
went back to my
Yeah.
my office and my duties. Trump didn't lead a damn thing. But to say that he should be eliminated, and this is just
disgusting.
a little. This is just a little bit of the. You know, they took down their advertisement. All their Why do you think they took down their advertisement? Because their advertisements were bitter, vicious, mean,
Full of
and
hate.
like Schumer, basically inviting people to do damage to Justice Kavanaugh, and then somebody came to try to kill him.
Yeah.
But boy, nobody ever covers this. And yes, it is true the Republicans have some rhetoric that isn't right or isn't, but not this, not at this level. Plus, their campaign isn't premised on it. Their campaign is premised on making America great again.
And I've never read anything I shouldn't say ever, but it's been a very long time since written word has moved me as much as Melania Trump's statement. I was so touched by that, how they've dehumanized her husband so much, they don't see the loving husband, father, grandfather, the guy who's so generous and takes care of other people. They've made him into a monster. And if you only watch certain media outlets,
Right.
then you've been radicalized. That's all I have to say. You really have to open your mind.
I think that's quite true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's quite true. Well, thank you, Doctor.
You're
we'll have you
very
back on.
welcome.
We'll have you back on in a little while, and when we come back,
Excellent.
we'll see where we are and with the convention and bring you up to date on it, and also a teeny bit more on the Democratic attacks and are they going to stop and are we going to get to a different level here? Because in talking to President Trump, I get the impression. I mean, there's no doubt he's a different man. And you say, well, how can that happen?
Oh, I
I
understand.
have gone
it,
through
yeah.
this, so I know it can happen. I went through it on September 11th. It took me about a day to realize that I almost died. And when I did, it changed me.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
You can't, unless you're completely inhuman, you can't look back on the fact that, but for the grace of God, I'm dead, and not be affected by it. You can be affected badly or very, very, in a very
Rudy,
strong
I
way.
believe that day on September 11th, when you were trapped in that building, God intervened and spared you because you were the right person at the right time. This was a miracle of God that President Trump survived that assassination attempt. It's just a miracle. I actually think the guy was a pretty darn good shot, and he got very close to the president on several bullets got very close to that president. So it's just a miracle.
Well, thank you, Doctor. And
You're
we'll see
very
you,
welcome.
Shirley, you'll be
Okay.
on. You'll be on for the entire week with us.
Excellent.
We'll take a short break.
Okay, we're bringing Bernie.
I'm
Okay,
excited
Bernie?
to announce we're having a huge MyPillow spring sale. And here's a few examples. Buy one of our MyPillow 2.0s, you get another MyPillow 2.0 absolutely free. Made with cooling technology, the best pillow ever just got even better. And this just in, 9 brand new colors and styles of our Percale bed sheets. They're made with the finest long staple cotton, and now you can save 50% or more. That's as low as $24.98. And for the first time this year, I'm bringing you our My Slippers and Sandals for as low as $25 a pair. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your MyPillow 2.0s. Buy one, get one free. Percale sheets as low as $24.98. My Slippers and Sandals as low as $25 a pair. And for a limited time, when you order $75 or more, your entire order ships absolutely free. Mike Lindell here.
And like you, I see our country being destroyed daily. We face massive economic issues. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are people in power who threaten the values that have made our country great. Well, I've been a believer in gold and silver for a long time, and I've searched for years for a partner that shares my values. Well, Genesis Gold Group showed me how easy it is to protect your IRA, 401k, or your retirement with gold and silver. Their faith-driven approach to service and stewardship is one that stands out from the rest. So call Genesis Gold Group now at 1-800-200-GOLD. That's 1-800-200-4653, or go to LindellGoldRush.com now.
The beef industry takes another blow as Cricket Burgers win America's Best Burger for the 4th year in a row. This comes after many major beef processing plants have shut their doors for good.
The beef industry continues to take a dive as cricket burgers skyrocket in demand. The insatiable insects have now overtaken cows as America's favorite animal. A market change that has even caused McDonald's to reevaluate
cows are now protected species as Americans may no longer receiving beef cows to be put on the endangered species of crickets.
And here's why that might not be such a bad thing. Consider this. Cows are harmful to the environment.
Cows will go extinct.
Introducing the all-new Prepper Bar. These 62.2 gram bars, perforated and easily broken into 3 denominations, will fit all of your needs. Perfect for asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or use it for bartering or trade. Prepper bars make an ideal gift for precious metal lovers. Available in gold and silver, these slim Prepper bars fit neatly into your wallet and can be used in any situation. As gold and silver prices surge and economists predict shortages, now is the time to secure your precious metals with Prepper bars. The only bar divisible into 3 different sizes for maximum utility, tradability, and proudly mined and minted in the United States, these Prepper bars are IRA eligible and will help you diversify your wealth. To order your own Prepper bars, go to www.frankspeechbar.com.
15.
That's www.frankspeechbar.com.
One. Okay, we're coming back.
With us, and she's had a little time to look around the convention and check things out a little bit. Emerald, haven't you?
I have. I've been walking around, just looking at the perimeter and who you see around. You know what's funny? Guess who I ran into? Frank Luntz. And his toupee. It was Frank Luntz.
My former pollster. When I was mayor, he was my pollster for 12 years.
You know what? And he's still here. You know what? Frank Luntz is surprised himself that he was still here. He was quite frank, you know, for a multiple player.
Should we get him on?
I think we should.
I think we should too.
So I think we can reach out to Frank Luntz and have on. And you know, Mayor, one of my producers asked him, you know, Frank Luntz, you used to be so respected. What happened? And you know what he said? He said, I made too much money. And then my producer says, well, Frank, which is better, telling the truth or making money? He's like, oh, making money, for sure. So he was.
Oh, I have a good one to tell him, to remind him. If we get him on, I can embarrass him. I can definitely embarrass him.
I would pay to see that.
So, tell you what it was?
Yes, please.
So, and he was my pollster in 1997, and I was going to win by a large amount. But a Republican can't really. There's a limit to how much a Republican can win by. I was only the second Republican in the 20th century. First time I won by 2.5%. So he goes ahead and predicts that I'm going to win by 20%. I almost threw him off the bus. I picked him up and I said, "Are you crazy? If I get 18%, the Times will say I lost. I got 18%." And the Times said, well, I didn't get the 20% that Frank Lunch said he would get.
We'll have to work on that.
So do we have Bernie Kerik was my police commissioner, and the police commissioner in New York City on September 11. He went through a harrowing experience with me, and he's someone like Donald Trump who doesn't get fazed by the fact that he may be dying or may be killed, or because the governor thought both of us were dead, and his courage and kept us going. But he also has probably protected, 50 major figures when he was commissioner, and the president 10 times. So I would like to get him to tell us a little about what, and have you ask him a few questions, because he and I talk all the time, and it'll sound like we're saying the same thing, because we have the same kind of view about how to do security. Bernie, are you there?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, I'm here.
Do we have you, Bernie?
I'm here.
Hi, Bernie. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Can you hear him?
I can hear Bernie. Yeah.
Oh, good. I can't. So why don't you ask him a question, and I'll catch up.
Well, I haven't gone. I know you've spoken with Bernie about the events over the weekend, and we're still unpacking that today because, as you know, Bernie, this is sort of the assassination attempt on Donald Trump this weekend is definitely hanging over this convention. It's changing it in some ways. I think in some ways, even a positive because it's more emotional, intense. Having worked in security, and I've talked to a few different professionals, one Secret Service agent earlier today, I talked to a woman who was trained in Quantico and worked in security for the government. I don't know what the mayor would have asked you, but I just want to know your take on what happened over the weekend, because clearly the Secret Service is facing a lot of backlash for what was seen as a late coming response, and it was not planned out from the start.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear me well. I'm getting a lot of feedback, but let me just run through some of my thoughts. First and foremost, the advance for that event and the oversight of the outer perimeter. The only thing I can call it is sheer incompetence. There's no reason that they shouldn't have had an observation post out there, or an actual officer on those roofs, or they shouldn't have had drones up. There's a number of things they could have done to keep an observation post or keep connected to that outer perimeter. So that's number one. Number two, the communications between the outside ring of security in the inner ring around the president / podium. That's in a serious question because there are reports of people that contacted the police, that told the police that there was somebody up there, and nobody around the president stopped him, got him away from the podium, cleared the area, and it's that in itself raises serious questions about the communication at the event itself. There's numerous reports that the Trump team had asked for additional resources for the last several months and were denied. Now today, Secretary Mayorkas of the Department of Homeland Security basically enhanced the president's and President Trump's detail, and also authorized security for Robert Kennedy. Now, what I find fascinating is that they said over the last few days that it was never denied. Well, if it wasn't denied, why'd you authorize it today? Why the change of heart?
But do you even trust this change of heart, Bernie?
No, no. I personally, I don't. I think they were lying. I think it was intentional. I think they denied the coverage in an attempt to create, a hassle for the Trump team, which in some way I think is partially responsible for what happened. So those are some of my thoughts. So just some of my thoughts, but I think there has to be an investigation, and I do not trust the FBI or DOJ to conduct that investigation. These are the same people that lied about the laptop, concealed, suppressed evidence, the same people that set up the photo op with the document stuff down in Miami, the same people that's been prosecuting and targeting Donald Trump for the last 3.5 years. I have no trust in them. And I think there has to be an independent commission to conduct an investigation, a thorough investigation of what happened and where the flaws and failures were of the Secret Service. And I would call on the Secret Service director. The woman that's in charge today should absolutely resign.
So I just want to let our audience know, because the mayor, he cannot.
I can kind of figure out what he's saying. I know him so well. I can do it by osmosis.
You probably have this telepathy thing going on because you guys are so, so connected. But Bernie is still concerned. He says there needs to be an investigation. I guess my question for the both of you would be, because you've been involved so much longer. I'm concerned that, look, they took a shot at the president and they missed.
Right.
This is optically terrible for them, right? And when we talk about too big to rig, now, because of the overwhelming support for Donald Trump, it might be too big to rig. I was concerned before. I didn't think maybe, but now, and I am concerned they will take another shot. Are you too?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. I'm sure Bernie is too.
Emerald.
I don't want to answer for him, but he's the first one that came to me, over a year, 2 years ago or whatever, and he said, you should talk to the president. These guys will stop at nothing. I mean, the chances that they'll try to kill him, they've already done things that are of equal criminality. I mean, to pay $1 million for a false story to frame a man, and then to use it to unseat a duly elected president with the kind of bravado they did it, and with the protection from the press, you can start to feel you get away with anything. Now, I'm not going to accuse them of anything. I'm just talking about possibilities here. And as Bernie knows, you investigate based on hypotheticals. So,
Emerald, if I can.
Is it a hypothetical that we can reject? I don't think it's a hypothetical we can reject. We don't have to embrace it yet, but it certainly has to be out there. Now, Bernie, will the federal law enforcement, take that into consideration, given the nature of it right now?
Well, I don't think they have a choice. And as the mayor just said, I predicted this on August 9th, 2022. Mm-hmm. August 9th, 2022, in a public interview, I said that this was a severe possibility because, we've turned into this, the equivalent of one of these dictatorships of third world countries around the world, where you try to oppose a political opponent. If you can't beat them, you go after them, you try to imprison them, and if you can't do that, they wind up shot, stabbed, or poisoned. And people, I was criticized when I said it. I was questioned by the FBI about the evidence I may have. And I told the FBI agent that asked me, I said, my statement's based on history, because this has happened around the world over and over again, and it's going to happen here. And the agent, ironically, was in my home, and he said, do you honestly think something like that could happen here? And I said, well, here's what I have to say. You're standing in my house serving a subpoena in an investigation that you're conducting on the president of the United States, the former president. So yes, I think it could happen. And I think it's a possibility. And the possibility came true just the other day when that shooter targeted the president. I think it can happen again. And I think we've got to do everything in our power to make sure that the people that were responsible for the flaws and failures the other day are held accountable. And we have to do everything in our power to make sure that the president's covered from this point forward.
Bernie, did he have? I think I know the answer to this, but it's worth having your evaluation because you did so many of these. It seemed to me that he had a very, very bare bones security detail. And then how can you possibly explain ever not having somebody on the top of that roof that's only 130 feet away? 150 yards away. A football field and a half away.
And can I add into that, just based on, you said he had bare bones, but also Suzanne Crabtree from Real Clear Politics reported over the in the last 24 hours. It wasn't just that it was bare bones. It was also mostly staffed outside of one permanent SAIC officer. It was temporary Secret Service. So it wasn't your usual permanent staff. So it wasn't just bare bones. It was also temp agents.
So here's my view of this, and I know there are people out there that's not going to like what I have to say, but here's the bottom line.
You're used to that.
That's what we have you on for.
Yeah, when you have protective agents that's responsible for a principal, whether it's Secret Service and the president, or the intelligence division in New York City for the mayor, or the state police for a governor. Those protective agents are responsible for three primary things. One, the protection of the principal. Two, in the event of a catastrophic event, that they are able to shield and cover and blanket the principal. And three, at worst, they're able to lift the principal to extract them from the event in case they're down. I can assure you that the women that were on this detail were not in a position to do any of the above. None. And not to mention, they were running around in circles around the motorcade, completely confused, had no idea what they were doing. One woman couldn't figure out how to holster her weapon.
It was actually embarrassing for women.
Anybody that knows this line of work, and just to give you an idea, Emerald, in New York City, the mayor and I had the Millennium Summit of the UN in 2000 on September 8th. We had 189 heads of state from around the world, 189 in New York City within a 7-day period, 189. We had the most substantial contingent of protective agents probably in world history. So we've done plenty of these. And I can tell you, the Secret Service historically is the best of the best at doing this. However, they have diminished their abilities substantially with this diversity program that they've tried to implement, and I think it's outrageous. I just think it's outrageous, and that's a reason I call for the director to resign. If she's not going to resign, the president should fire her.
Yeah, well, that won't happen. The fact is that could they have taken agents that weren't look, you know that. You have cops and you have cops. And when you're dealing with a high priority, you put your best people on it. The Secret Service, same thing. It didn't seem to me that this was the A-team.
No, it wasn't the A-team at all. In fact, and Emerald's right in the fact that there were temporary agents. My sources tell me that a number of the people out there that day weren't even Secret Service agents. They were actually investigators from Homeland Security. That, it's a completely different level and caliber of personnel. This is outrageous. This is a former president and the leading candidate for one of the political parties who, in all probability, is going to be the next president of the United States. And you have a substandard ring of security around him. It's completely unacceptable.
Well, Bernie, I had not heard that. That's very interesting what your sources are telling you. If they're investigative agents from the Department of Homeland Security, and that actually makes sense because, right, the Secret Service falls under the purview of DHS. But then can we then call it a failure, or can we say it's incompetence? And this is something, I've been talking about in my reporting. The timing is so uncanny, right? Because it's right before Donald Trump.
You got to buy another coincidence.
Yeah.
Well, with Biden, you got to buy all kinds of coincidences.
This is when he's officially accepting the nomination. He's naming his vice president. So this was the most opportune time. Say that's what you're trying to do, to take him out, because then the establishment can put in who they want. So can we? And I would love to talk more about your sources in that, because that is very interesting. I'm seeing no one else reporting that, Bernie. That means I feel like that leads more even further into the argument that this was coordinated.
Well, listen, I can't say whether it was coordinated or not, and I can't, I hate to speculate, but the bottom line is, based on what I've heard, and more so, based on what I watched, I know plenty of people that work for the Secret Service that have covered presidents dating back to President Clinton, coming forward. Professionals, the ultimate professionals, get the job done, know what they're talking about, know what they're doing, know how to handle the principal. That is not what I saw on the day that the assassination attempt happened. That is not what I saw. None of it. None of it.
Well, Bernie, thanks. We'll be in touch. I'm sure we'll have you on in a day or two more. You just pick up more information than anybody, for good reason, and you've got more experience than anyone, and you've got the courage to say it, which that's a rare combination, those three things.
Well, it doesn't make you a very popular person in any circle, let's be honest.
Yeah, but
right.
I do remember he's the first one, Emerald, to tell me, and you told me to warn the president, and then we both spoke to him. He knew this was a possibility.
Did
so,
he really?
Absolutely.
Because you talked to him.
Absolutely. For the longest time, I resisted. I wasn't sure, and then when Bernie said it, on my own, I thought, "Oh my goodness, these people." It's like a book. Let's kill Bernie. Let's kill President Trump. Russian collusion, the hard drive, quid pro quo, the January 6th exaggeration, 4 criminal cases. Al Capone gets prosecuted in 1, he gets prosecuted in 4, and they're all, honestly, as a former prosecutor, they're all BS cases completely. Some of the worst prosecutors you could find in the world. Jack Smith is excoriated by the Supreme Court, 8-0, and the Attorney General wants a fair investigation, and he picks a crooked prosecutor. You had to know that Smith was going to screw around with this case like he did the prior cases. So they've been trying to get him. And what's happened, listen, he just gets more popular. So what do they have left?
This is exactly why you cannot, no one can depend on the Department of Justice and the FBI to do this investigation. You can't. They've been inundated with corruption, internal corruption. You cannot. They need somebody else to do this investigation. Bring somebody in from the outside. Bring, get Kash Patel to do it. Get somebody that will do a thorough investigation to conduct the investigation. But if you're going to depend on the FBI and your Justice Department to do it, then there's no telling what the outcome's going to be, because I promise you it's going to be as corrupt as some of the investigations they've already led.
Different, Bernie. I think we know exactly what the outcome would be. I think they'll be the investigation files will be sitting next to the Hunter Biden laptop,
right,
and the Seth Rich laptop, and
Well, yeah. Bernie, thanks a lot.
All right, guys, thank you.
We'll be with you. We'll be with you again very soon. Look, they basically are asking us, Emerald, to buy so many coincidences. Think about this, right? When he came into office, we had an air base 400 miles from China. It was one of the most modern air bases that we had. We had just spent billions of dollars on it. it gave us a strategic advantage that is remarkable, right? 400 miles. I mean, they're going to take a lot longer to get to us than we are to them. We're looking for an air base that's 1,000 miles now from China. And for no reason, and no reason even given to the public, he abandons it, making China much safer, making America more dangerous. And his family got $31 million from China in the 5 years leading up to his becoming president. Now, let's even assume that he didn't get the money, but his family got $31 million, and he does something that makes China safe and makes America dangerous. Now, I don't know. I'm just too much of a prosecutor not to say that sure as hell has to be investigated. I just don't buy a coincidence like that.
Well, it's not a coincidence. And clearly, Hunter Biden's paying for his bills. So whether he gets it in his bank account officially or not, he's getting paid off by. So here's my question to you, because you were the one who really brought to light the corruption of the Bidens. Democrats are in a real optics problem right now, right? And they have a family they don't seem to be able to get rid of. Do they shake Biden before their August convention?
Wow.
Because he also has a lot of dirt on them. They're worried. I think the Biden family don't want to get out.
You are right. People don't focus enough on the fact that he has a lot on them, and he's a pretty evil guy. I mean, he's a pretty. This guy will do anything.
They've proven that. And also, what I have heard about Joe Biden, who I did not interact with prior to 2021, I watched him shuffle onto that North Lawn at the White House on Inauguration Day 2021, and everyone's so shocked about his mental capacity and his diminished health now. But I mean, I could tell that day he was struggling to walk onto the North Lawn. But here's the thing, what I have learned from people who are around him during his vice presidency is he very much ran things. And remember, he told Obama he always wanted to be the last person in the room. And he knows a lot about Obama, and Hunter Biden knows a lot about these people, whether Joe is cognizant and able to run things now or not. And I think that the Biden family is very concerned because of the information you made sure got to the public. Mm-hmm. About actual criminal prosecutions, that the Democrats, because the Democrats do run the justice system at this moment outside of certain districts, right? Like Eileen Cannon, who did a great decision today in the Southern District of Florida. They are worried the toll might actually come to be paid because the Democrats want to throw them under the bus now. But I think they're caught in an optics problem. I don't think Democrats have a real great candidate to replace them. So what do you think? Because you're so involved on this. You're a central figure in why Biden's having such a major optics issue right now. He would have probably sailed through fine if that laptop had not really, it'd have been a little bit easier for him. Maybe not sail through, but it'd been easier for him. So what happens?
I'm amazed that he's been able to hold on with the pressure. With the pressures, I don't think but I've been amazed from the very beginning. I thought in December of 2017, when I was first given the evidence, which included a videotape, a completed money laundering transaction for about $3 million in which Joe participated in the money, and 5 witnesses who were willing to come to the United States and testify against him. I thought he was finished.
Yeah.
Then we got the China information, and just this alone should have finished him. He definitely got $1.5 billion from the Bank of China for a private equity fund that includes as partners him, John Kerry's stepson, his friend Devin Archer, who's now in prison, and Whitey Bulger's nephew. What the hell is he doing business with Whitey Bulger's nephew? Now, the press never reports that, including the conservative press.
I know.
They don't report that it was Whitey Bulger's nephew.
I think, honestly, for them, because, I come out of being from the White House press corps, but as a conservative reporter, I worked at conservative networks. I think even for them, it's almost too good for TV. I mean, it seems like a Hollywood script. You're talking about Whitey Bulger's nephew. I think even they can't believe it's possibly
true. There have been so many times that I thought this man was finished. When we got the hard drive, when John Mac Isaacs gave me and my lawyer, Bob Costello, the hard drive, and at first we thought maybe he was crazy. Then we started listening to it, and it was amazing. Nobody would have survived that. Well, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
I didn't have my computer, so I couldn't see any of the floor feed. Okay.
You want to go get it?
I'm excited to announce we're having a huge MyPillow spring sale. And here's a few examples. Buy one of our MyPillow 2.0s, you get another MyPillow 2.0 absolutely free. Made with cooling technology, the best pillow ever just got even better. And this just in, 9 brand new colors and styles of our Percale bed sheets. They're made with the finest long staple cotton, and now you can save 50% or more. That's as low as $24.98. And for the first time this year, I'm bringing you our My Slippers and Sandals for as low as $25 a pair. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your MyPillow 2.0s. Buy one, get one free. Percale sheets as low as $24.98. My Slippers and Sandals as low as $25 a pair. And for a limited time, when you order $75 or more, your entire order ships absolutely free. Mike Lindell here, and like you, I see our country being destroyed daily. We face massive economic issues, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are people in power who threaten the values that have made our country great. Well, I've been a believer in gold and silver for a long time, and I've searched for years for a partner that shares my values. Well, Genesis Gold Group showed me how easy it is to protect your IRA, 401k, or your retirement with gold and silver. Their faith-driven approach to service and stewardship is one that stands out from the rest. So call Genesis Gold Group now at 1-800-200-GOLD. That's 1-800-200-4653, or go to LindellGoldRush.com now.
The beef industry takes another blow as Cricket Burgers win America's best burger for the 4th year in a row. This comes after many major beef processing plants have shut their doors for good.
The beef industry continues to take a dive as cricket burgers skyrocket in demand. The insatiable insects have now overtaken cows as America's favorite animal. A market change that has even caused McDonald's to reevaluate
cows are now protected cows as Americans will no longer be seeing beef cows to be put on the endangered species list.
And here's why that might not be such a bad thing. Consider this. Cows are harmful to the environment.
Cows will go extinct.
Introducing the all-new Prepper Bar. These 62.2 gram bars, perforated and easily broken into 3 denominations, will fit all of your needs. Perfect for asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or use it for bartering or trade. Prepper bars make an ideal gift for precious metal lovers. Available in gold and silver, these slim Prepper bars fit neatly into your wallet and can be used in any situation. As gold and silver prices surge and economists predict shortages, now is the time to secure your precious metals with Prepper bars. The only bar divisible into 3 different sizes for maximum utility, tradability, and proudly mined and minted in the United States, these Prepper bars are IRA eligible and will help you diversify your wealth. To order your own Prepper bars, go to www.frankspeechbar.com. That's www.frankspeechbar.com.
I'm excited to announce we're having a huge MyPillow spring sale, and here's a few examples. Buy one of our MyPillow 2.0s, you get another MyPillow 2.0 absolutely free. Made with cooling technology, the best pillow ever just got even better. And this just in, 9 brand new colors and styles of our Percale bed sheets. They're made with the finest long staple cotton, and now you can save 50% or more. That's as low as $24.98. And for the first time this year, I'm bringing you our My Slippers and Sandals for as low as $25 a pair. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your MyPillow 2.0s. Buy one, get one free. Percale sheets as low as $24.98. My Slippers and Sandals as low as $25 a pair. And for a limited time, when you order $75 or more, your entire order ships absolutely free. Mike Lindell here, and like you, I see our country being destroyed daily. We face massive economic issues, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are people in power who threaten the values that have made our country great. Well, I've been a believer in gold and silver for a long time, and I've searched for years for a partner that shares my values. Well, Genesis Gold Group showed me how easy it is to protect your IRA, 401k, or your retirement with gold and silver. Their faith-driven approach to service and stewardship is one that stands out from the rest. So call Genesis Gold Group now at 1-800-200-GOLD. That's 1-800-200-4653, or go to LindellGoldRush.com now.
The beef industry takes another blow as Cricket Burgers win America's best burger for the 4th year in a row. This comes after many major beef processing plants have shut their doors for good.
The beef industry continues to take a dive as cricket burgers skyrocket in demand. The insatiable insects have now overtaken cows as America's favorite animal. A market change that has even caused McDonald's to reevaluate
cows are now cows as Americans means they will no longer be seeing beef cows to be put on the indictment. They do have crickets.
And here's why that might not be such a bad thing. Consider this. Cows are harmful to the environment.
Cows will go extinct.
Introducing the all-new Prepper Bar. These 62.2 gram bars, perforated and easily broken into 3 denominations, will fit all of your needs. Perfect for asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or use it for bartering or trade. Prepper bars make an ideal gift for precious metal lovers. Available in gold and silver, these slim Prepper bars fit neatly into your wallet and can be used in any situation. As gold and silver prices surge and economists predict shortages, now is the time to secure your precious metals with Prepper bars. The only bar divisible into 3 different sizes for maximum utility, tradability, and proudly mined and minted in the United States, these Prepper bars are IRA eligible and will help you diversify your wealth. To order your own Prepper bars, go to www.frankspeechbar.com. That's www.frankspeechbar.com.
Come on.
Welcome back to Frank's Speech live coverage of the RNC Day 1. Currently, Senator Tim Scott, who is actually on the list, Mayor Giuliani, that will be taken is the Senator from Ohio, Senator J.D. Vance. Tim Scott needs to be staged addressing, and we will we are going to get to May stage as we all know some of the content speakers tonight. I am curious your thoughts on what is his phrase? Central casting for.
I think, and also, you know, he gives a lot of credit that a lot of the media wouldn't to his success in business. That
Sure.
he was a successful businessman and a successful executive, a very solid presence, I think he's pretty well convinced that a vice president is not going to elect him. He just has to have one that is not going to hurt him. I don't know that he gave serious thought to Rubio. He certainly put his name out there quite a bit. I know he thought about Ben Carson for a while. Probably abandoned that about 2 weeks ago.
So Carson was in the running as late as probably 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, remember when he said the leak was you have to have somebody that can be a really good debater.
Oh, yeah.
That was sort of like the signal that Ben, although he'd make a great president because he's a solid guy, maybe he isn't enough of a politician.
He's a bit more soft-spoken.
Yeah, and I think he selected Vance because Vance gives him a way of building the party. You know, a way of Vance talks to the same people that he has brought into the Republican Party who were never there before. The workers, the middle class, anywhere from upper to lower middle class, even some of the poor. That's the way he has crafted his own campaigns. And I think he likes the idea that he's young, having someone.
And there's a future.
Yeah, just, I mean,
legacy.
As compared to the two of them and who the heck can handicap the other one, Harris? Half the time I don't understand what she's saying.
So here's my concern. You said that the president, the vice president doesn't, when we're talking about campaigning in the election, he just needed a vice president that didn't hurt him. But having covered the White House, my concern is not about the campaign or the election. Let's say they win and they get to an administration. A vice president can absolutely hurt him. The wrong pick, because I saw it with Mike Pence. It became very clear to me early on, relatively early on in the Trump administration, that Pence was not actually a loyal, remember they always kind of called him the loyal servant or the loyal vice president. They used the word loyal. It was very clear to me, probably by early 2018, that he was not. And then we learned that his office was staffed up with basically national security state moles and spooks who helped to not only subvert the America First agenda from the executive office building, but also served as spies for the national security state. When we're talking about the FBI, and you know, with Bernie Kerik, who we just had on before the commercial break, he talked about how he didn't trust the FBI to conduct an authentic and real investigation of the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. I don't either. And in Pence's office, his first chief of staff was one Josh Pitcock, who was married to Catherine Seaman, who was an analyst assigned to Peter Strzok. Peter Strzok, the lover of Lisa Page, and those infamous text messages.
Who should be in jail.
Who should be in jail. And that was all ran out of the vice president's office. We also got Olivia Troy and Jennifer Williams, who testified in the Ukraine impeachment. Remember that? She'd only been in Pence's office for she showed up just in time to take place in the Ukraine impeachment. So I say that the vice presidential pick is extremely consequential, because when it comes to actually running an administration, they can make or break Donald Trump, and they can let the spies in the national security state in.
Do you have these concerns about Vance, and who would have been better?
Well, see, I don't have any better. That's where you catch me. Is I don't have of the four. You know what? I love Secretary Ben Carson, and he tried to get me to work for him at HUD.
As a president, if we were just picking a president and not a candidate, I would go with Ben. In fact, Ben was my first choice, maybe just out of friendship and everything else.
He has a great heart. He's a great man. I adore that man to this day. What I did find when he tried to hire me at HUD is that he did not have control of his agency. Mm-hmm. He's so nice. He's almost nice to a fault. And they told me they could not hire me because I was too MAGA. I was too MAGA for the Trump administration. So I worry that Ben Carson could not also stand up to the state.
That means they didn't belong in the Trump administration.
They didn't, but they were there, and they won over. They won out in that situation. And I saw that time and time again, not just with me. So I would say Ben Carson, I love him, but I think he has to someone stronger. Marco Rubio, you got to remember, Marco Rubio was on the Senate Intelligence Committee with John Warner, and he was actively helping to kind of push the Russia narrative.
Right.
Marco Rubio took it seriously, and we all knew that was false from the start. It was obvious.
Day one.
He should have never taken it seriously.
Day one, it was a complete piece of garbage.
So I'm pretty sure he would participate with the national security state and has staffed up his office if he was the pick. And I hope he's not tapped for anything else, because I don't trust him as far as, I might could throw a little Marco. I shouldn't use that phrase. I might could throw him pretty far, but I don't trust him. And Doug Burgum, business.
You don't know enough, probably.
I don't know enough. But for Vance, I don't know enough. He's the one
That's
who
true.
I do, out of the list of all of those, I do know some of his advisors. And I will tell you, because personnel is policy, and Donald Trump, I hope, has learned that. You got to staff up with the right people. J.D. Vance has some really good advisors who are truly America first in their strategy, like especially on immigration.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, the 2016 hardline immigration policies, right, that Trump campaigned on. So that's good. I think that also because J.D. Vance wants a future, I don't know. I have to see. I don't think he will staff up with spooks from the national security state. I don't immediately get that sense from him. So that's good.
My only reservation about JD is I don't know enough about him.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't been around that long, so you don't know.
Yeah.
Some of the others have had to contradict themselves because they've been around so long. But I think of the choices that he had, it's the most exciting choice.
Yeah.
From a political point of view, it's probably the most exciting choice. A young man adds some excitement to it.
And he can debate.
And he can really debate. And if he's going to have to deal with word salad, it's going to be...
And here's the thing, and I think...
I wonder if he can get her to cackle during the debate.
I think that's a given, because that's all she does.
If I were helping to prepare him for a debate, I'd try to figure out what are the things that get her to cackle, and let's throw that in. I helped to prepare President Trump for his debates with with Biden the first time, and that 2-minute rule they put in. Mm-hmm. So the doctors I talked to, because in preparing for the debate, he actually asked me let's get some doctors.
That was smart.
To find out about. I actually put them on my podcast eventually. 2 of them who were brave enough to say, to your point before, that he was demented about a year before he started running, mm-hmm. because what they did was they went and got out tapes, and they said, it's not a complete diagnosis, but dementia, when you have a man on tape that much, you can diagnose.
Yeah.
So they went back 5 years ago now, and before the 2016 election, he had said things like, I saw Franklin Roosevelt on television reading the funny papers. Franklin Roosevelt was dead 3 years before there was television, and it was LaGuardia who read the funny papers, and it was on radio. He said, of course, that unbelievably pervy thing about the children. He likes the children touching his legs.
The golden hair.
He likes
at
the
the
children.
pool.
I mean,
and corn
that
pop.
one.
That was the corn pop story.
Yeah, that one. I think you go straight to a hospital with that one.
Or elsewhere.
He got his sister and his wife mixed up. He was in the wrong place about 40 times. Both of them agreed that he had a very significant loss of short-term memory, more than usual then. And they said he's got about a 2-minute time span. They said he had a very strange, unusual loss of immediate short-term memory. So while he's talking, like I'm talking to you now, I forget immediately now that I'm talking about Joe Biden. I can't remember. I panic. And I either stop talking or I introduce a totally new subject. Now, I analyzed the last debate. He did that about 14 times, where if you let him go, he just goes right off. And the most amazing one was the one where he was asked about abortion, his best issue, from his point of view. And he changes the topic to immigration.
Yeah.
His worst. And Trump ignores the abortion part, except for a little comment at the end, and just bombs him over immigration. About the 10 million people that you let in here, and they're raping people. And then and the way he did it was, he started saying, you went to that funeral of that young girl. And I'm saying to myself, what funeral an abortion situation that Trump go to, and then all of a sudden he said, who was killed by the illegal migrant. I said, what the hell are you talking about that for?
And that's what Trump said. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Right.
I was really impressed. I did think that I noticed that Trump just sucked. He just didn't really he reacted a little with his face, but you could see, even though they had the 2-minute rule, it worked really well in his favor.
Tremendous
But I could tell, even if they hadn't had that rule, that there was something different about Trump in this debate, that he was going to let Joe Biden kind of, hang his own self.
Well, I think he learned that from watching the Pride debate. In the debate where he was told that by the doctor to let him go, there were at least 2 or 3 times where he saved him in that debate.
He did.
Because he got really angry at how. I mean, Joe was an unbelievable liar. I mean, okay, everybody in politics lies, certain level. This guy is a pathological, mentally ill liar. He says things that. He says stupid lies like, I graduated first in the class. That's easy to check. I mean, it's not.
He's compulsive.
Right? Or, I gave my uncle the Purple Heart. Well, you go, his uncle never got the Purple Heart. I mean, it's in black and white.
Yeah.
I mean, he's certainly not an intelligent liar. And I know even from being in court and debating, and lying always gets you angry. It sort of does something to you. And I think he had to go through that, because he told some lies in that. He got him on the Border Patrol when he said the Border Patrol supported him. The Border Patrol.
Well, everyone in
letter.
America knows that. And talking about what's going on the main stage, we have it looks like this is the consolation prize appointments are scheduled tonight. We have Lynn Jenkins. Oh, and it's getting exciting over here. We had Attorney General Ken Paxton just walk up. Hi, it's good to see you, sir. You want to pop in the chair with the mayor?
Yeah.
Okay, look, I'm going to move out. I'm going to let you talk to Attorney General Paxton, because this is important man in America right now. Fellow Target.
Where can you jump in a show live? We have free speech. We're free speech. You just jump right in there.
You can say whatever you want.
Okay, what do you think of Eddie Van? I love it. It's fine. It was either him or Ben. I was happy with either one.
They'll get you set up.
Yeah, what do you think?
Have you met him?
I don't know him.
Yeah,
I know Ben Carson. I don't know him.
Yeah, well, I was, you know.
What do I do? I get the earpiece. What else?
Someone will come over and help you.
Okay.
This is your laptop.
I had a sentimental.
All right. That sounds good.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
I had a sentimental leaning toward Ben.
Did you?
Yeah,
I did too, because I know.
Because I love him, but I think Vance is a good choice. I think is an exciting choice.
Yeah.
Is it your left ear?
And maybe
it's going to go around your ear.
Like behind me or in front of you?
It's probably going to go behind you.
Okay.
You're stepping on the cord.
Oh. So all kinds of chords.
Yes.
Okay, let's see here. How's this go in? Let's see.
They're kind of funny.
These are weird. You got that one in? Okay.
There you go. And try to wrap that cord around so it just
Probably?
goes down a little bit.
They kind of feel like they're going to come out. Let's see here.
Yeah, they're difficult.
Okay, I just got unhooked. They're just too tight.
They're not the easiest. Is this one working?
Do we have any date feelings? So this got
Is this
unplugged.
working?
Yeah, it's
It was too tight. Whatever it was connected to.
Okay, you got plenty of slack now. Just make sure not to unplug that.
Well,
Just want to show you. I just want to show you something as a lawyer, if you don't mind. A little thing about how there's no evidence that Biden got money, because it drives me nuts. There's been evidence that Biden got money for 4 years, but nobody considers it evidence, even though it would be against anyone else. So I want to show it to you.
okay, that'd be great. So are we live or?
We'll be live in a minute. Are we back on? Okay, well, we're back, and I think you know who this is. This is Ken Paxton, the great Attorney General from Texas. the guy who causes more trouble than anybody in the right way, right, Ken?
That's right. Good to be here.
Yeah,
Thanks for having
and
me on.
this is a real patriot. I just want to ask him a question because you see that back there on the board, and so everybody says, even our Republicans say, well, there's no evidence that Biden got money. Well, like hell there isn't. This is a text.
Okay.
And this text goes back to December of 2018. And it's from Hunter to his daughter. And it says, I love all of you, but I don't receive any respect. And that's fine, I guess. Works for you, apparently. I hope you all can do what I did and pay for everything for this entire family for 30 years. It's really hard. But don't worry, unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary. Now, that comes in as an admission in a trial.
So if they had that,
That's an admission.
Yes, if they had that on you or me, we wouldn't see daylight.
Right, and it's evidence. Okay, you could say maybe it's not true, but maybe everything that Michael Cohen said is not true. But he said it and wrote it, and even stronger, he wrote it.
Well, and why?
It's evidence.
Exactly, and why would he have said it if it wasn't true?
Yeah, and the press. We got to share the mic. This mic.
Okay.
And the press.
There we go.
The press, even the conservative press, avoids that, and they buy into there's no evidence that he got. There's a lot more evidence than this, but it's just amazing what they get away with. Okay, but let's talk about the vice president. So Vance, what do you think?
I think it's a pretty good pick. I could have been like you've been happy with others. Ben Carson would have been a great pick. There's certainly others that I would have liked, but I do think JD is an exciting pick. I think he's young, he's smart. I think he has the same values that Trump has, and I think he'll be there to promote the agenda that Trump's promoting.
Yeah, I think it'd be an interesting debate with Harris too.
Oh, I think
if they last. I mean, okay, I have so many questions for you. Is Biden going to last?
So I was disappointed that we had a debate in June. I always thought that was a little bit of a setup, that we should wait until he got nominated so they couldn't unlock him. No, I actually thought they did it on purpose. Have you ever heard of a debate in June?
No, never has been before.
It's the first time ever. So why now? Why did we have a debate in June, if not to set Biden up to be replaced?
I think that was part of the reason. I mean, I don't think he went into it for that reason.
No.
He went into it that they sold him on the fact that he had to turn the momentum.
In my lifetime, I don't remember a debate before the conventions. Oh, they usually nominate first. That's usually the first thing, right? You don't go do a debate. And it's in September and October.
I do not think there ever was a debate before the candidates were nominated. I think they all, and I don't think anyone's taken place before September.
So the question is, why did the Democrats want to do that? And the only answer that I have is they wanted to expose Biden because they were worried that he couldn't do the campaign.
Yeah, I think they had different motives in a way. I think there were a whole group that wanted him exposed. Then there's a whole group that drink the Kool-Aid and think that he was going to revive himself. And I think they convinced him of that. You're falling behind. Trump is ahead. You got to do something dramatic. He's not going to go into a debate as a test if he had thought that. But of course, he's so out of it. Maybe he didn't realize that.
He doesn't realize. I don't think he knows anything.
If he were thinking of his own best good, he wouldn't have debated until September, or not debated at all.
If he were thinking of his own best good, he wouldn't run.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think he's capable of that.
I don't think he is either. I think he's a complete narcissist.
So I think this was a setup. I think that they wanted. I think the powers that be in the Democratic Party that are controlling things wanted to expose him so they could replace him.
Well, you think they thought it would be easier to get him out than it is? But he's fighting like hell.
No, I do think they thought that. I thought he would be overwhelmed by it.
He's always surprised me too.
Yeah,
I thought he was dead when I got the first bit of evidence on him. It was about as good a case as I ever had. He made that basic confession in front of the Foreign Policy Council. I'll hold back the $1 billion unless you fire the prosecutor. Quid pro quo.
Yeah.
Right. There was a motive. His son was under investigation. The prosecutor had actually raided the company office 3 days before that conversation. And this whole idea that they weren't investigating Hunter is complete bull. And it's all over the newspapers in Ukraine, so you could prove that in a second. Then he approves the new prosecutor. He not only fired the first one, but he approved the new one. Now, what vice president of the United States approves the prosecutor in Ukraine? And then the prosecutor dropped the $20 billion case. Just dropped it. There you go. I mean, I've won cases with a lot less than that.
Yeah.
Plus, there were 5 witnesses from Ukraine that said it was a bribe.
So have I.
Yeah. and that one he escapes from. Then when we got the hard drive, I said, oh, it's over. Bannon and I, it's over. It's over. Give it to the Post. He's finished. And basically, Bannon goes to jail, not him.
That's how it works now.
He's trying to put me in jail for 2 cases for the rest of my life.
They're trying to put me in jail too.
Yeah.
You know how it goes.
For the rest of my life. I mean, he's the guy that got the $51 million, not me. And he wants to put me in jail.
That's how it works today.
And then the other thing I always wonder is, if we were back in the old days, and either, let's pick a Democrat, John Kennedy or Ronald Reagan, and their family got $31 million from Russia, or the Soviet Union, would there have been any hesitation?
None.
They'd have been thrown out and probably hung.
Yes, they're done.
How does he get away with it?
The media, the judicial system has changed. It's been weaponized one way. Department of Justice, FBI, they're not going to go after anybody that they politically align with.
So they're going after the
They go after Bannon, they go after you, they go after me, they go after Trump, they go after Roger Stone. That's the list.
Yeah, and they got Navarro just got out.
The list goes on, but that's some of the list.
I mean, it really is frightening. So now,
it's Venezuela, it's Germany in the 30s, it's China. What's the difference?
So now we have the ultimate, right? An attempt was made to kill him. That, but for the grace of God, would have killed him.
Absolutely.
Had he not moved his face, we just went through
at the right second.
We went through the tape, very deliberately. And I had Bernie Kerik on, my former commissioner, and Bernie, of course, says there's just too many coincidences. Nobody on the roof.
130 yards away, which is a shot that I could take as 100.
Nobody on the roof. I never heard of that. I mean, I was the one who had Hinckley arrested and did all the follow-up to the Hinckley case, and was in charge from the Justice Department point of view, his prosecution. And then, of course, as the mayor, we must have protected a president 30 times.
Mm-hmm.
You look at that field, you want people up on a roof so you can see the people in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
The people on the ground can't see what's going on. The people on the roof can. Then there's that whole story of the guy who walked up the roof and the cop tried to bring him down. And then the cop went up to try to shoot him and he went down again.
Yeah, and there's a whole story of people identifying to the police that there's a guy with a rifle going up on this tower. And they don't do anything about it.
Is it possible?
I have talked to people.
Is it possible?
No. I've talked to people who have been in.
No. Is it possible that this is more than just a crazy guy?
I don't think it's possible because the Secret Service is not that bad. They're not that incompetent.
Right.
They
look pretty bad.
If I were just a regular person going in there and I saw a tower 130 yards away, I would make sure that I had somebody up there. And how can you not? How can you not protect that? That doesn't make sense. That is outside of protocol, for sure. How do they defend that? I've talked to people that are in 3-letter agencies, and they have told me there is no way that happens. Just accidentally.
No way. It's not even thinkable. And it's amazing with all the agents that were there, and even cops, that nobody said something. I mean, it's something you would interrupt and say, we got to cover that roof.
Well, how about just when you see the guy with the rifle, you get Trump off the stage? A 130-yard shot, a recreational hunter is going to make that shot most of the time.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, you want to guard against that for sure.
He actually, he actually did everything he could to kill him. It was just an accident that prevented it. I mean, the fact that the president moved at the time.
You
that he
said
did.
it right. It's the grace of God.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah.
And we're here at the convention at a funeral trying to.
Can you imagine what this would be like today?
I was thinking about that when I was here. I was thinking this would have been so sad, and we would have been in total chaos, and the whole country would be in chaos.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's where I think that's where things were supposed to go.
So I'm not prepared to say that it was planned or but I'm also not prepared to say that shouldn't be investigated. That should be very seriously investigated. Of course, they won't do that.
I'm not saying it's planned, but it sure looks like it.
Yeah. Well, if it looks like it, you got to investigate.
It looks like it because
So
how can the Secret Service be that incompetent? If they
Well,
are, oh my gosh!
If you
they're just
if you don't investigate it thoroughly, it's going to become like another Kennedy assassination. There'll be 30 theories about it afterwards if they do a screwed up job of investigating it. They almost have to disprove that there was anybody or anything behind it because so many mistakes were made,
and not just like crazy mistakes, like basic law enforcement protocol not followed.
I think they definitely are lying about having turned them down for extra people because it looked to me, from my knowledge of the presidential details and even candidate details, he had a pretty bare bones group of Secret Service agents. I don't think he had the A-team either. Didn't look like the A-team.
No, even when they were on stage, it didn't look like the A-team. And you could also hear one of the agents saying, "What do we do? What do we do?" I mean, hello. Seems like that's what you're trained for.
He also turns down protection for Robert Kennedy. I mean, if there's anybody else in the country that some nut would like to kill, it'd be the last Kennedy.
I totally agree. He should be totally protected.
I mean, whether you like his politics or not, the man doesn't deserve to die.
Nope. And I agree.
And why doesn't he protect him? I mean, it's like almost a no-brainer that you would give him protection.
I could not agree with you more. Robert F. Kennedy, he should be protected.
So how's Texas, and how you? It seems to me like your governor has done things to, and all of you have done things to kind of straighten things out on your own a little bit in Texas. Is that true?
When you in what context?
In terms of the people coming in, because a lot of them have moved over to New Mexico and Arizona.
Oh yeah, we've definitely tried. The legislature passed laws to say that we could arrest people coming into our country if the border agents were not going to. We're in litigation over that now. We're being sued by the Biden administration. But I want you to think about this. Can you imagine Texas coming into the union and cutting a deal with the federal government where the federal government tells us they're going to protect us from outside forces, and they decide not to do it, and we agree at that time that that's okay, that we're okay with the federal, we're not going to do anything about it. There's no way we join the union under that deal. So however the Supreme Court interprets this, there's no state that I know of that would have joined the union under some plan where the federal government promises that they'll protect you, and when they don't, then they say, well, you can't protect yourself because it's our obligation, but we're not doing it. And now you're subject to all the forces of evil.
So he won that case about the barbed wire, right? But he's never taken it out, has he?
No. So yeah, Biden, they didn't win it. We just didn't get our injunction, and so since that point, they've never taken any more barbed wire.
So would he have the legal right to do that now?
So he could do it. We're still in litigation over whether he can do it. But the merits of the case.
But he's not stayed.
He's not stayed.
So if he wanted to, he could make an attempt to do that.
It would give us more examples in our litigation to show why this is a problem.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's the optics of it.
It's the optics of running for office
here
right
you
now.
Got Texas trying to prevent people from coming in, and he's knocking out barbed wire.
Yeah, it's concertina wire and making it obvious that they're going to cut the fence for him. They're supposed to arrest them. Instead, they're cutting the fence and letting them in and take them to someplace where they can vote.
And what are the conditions like in Texas? I mean, we hear about the other states, but in comparison to you, Arizona, maybe New Mexico,
in California,
nobody's hit the way.
No, I mean,
there was a while that you were the worst hit.
We are the worst hit because we have 2/3 of the border. So we are the worst hit. That has tremendous economic, because we have to educate, healthcare, law enforcement costs. We have social costs of the drugs, killing our kids. Yeah, it's devastating. And we're just supposed to go, well, the federal government won't stop it, so we're not allowed to. How can that be right?
No, it can't be. It isn't right. It isn't right, and that I think they are trying to destroy America. I mean, including now, a lot of them are doing the right to vote for non-citizens, so they're giving away their motive.
Well, you're right about this. I mean, you can't do the things Biden's done, whether it's international, the destruction that's happened overseas, the border, economically, inflation. You can't make that many bad decisions and tell me that you're not doing it on purpose.
Yeah, of course you are.
And we know that the border's on purpose because we watched the policies of Trump and the enforcement of law with Trump, and then they dismantle it and tell everyone, the cartels, particularly on the first day that he's in office, not a week later, not a month later, first day, I am not deporting anybody.
Yeah, and
why would he do that? Because he wants the cartels to know, bring the people, you don't have to hide anymore, we will take care of them.
Yeah, I think it's to try to create an electorate for themselves that they possess, because they're afraid they're losing some of their enslaved electorate. And then I also think it's sort of to change the nature of America. So we're no longer America. We're part of the one world.
Part of the one world, and it's also, I mean, there's a huge disrespect of America by Obama, and his, Biden isn't really there. So
yes, and Obama is
he's
probably
basically behind the scenes running because he dislikes America, and thinks we don't deserve our wealth and our success, and so they're dismantling us. That's what Obama got. He's the first president, in my knowledge, in the history of the country, that doesn't care about America, that wants to dismantle it.
So, do you think we're in pretty good shape right now?
Look, the only
or do you just worry like I do that you never?
Well, first of all, look, they just tried to kill him.
Yeah,
somebody tried to kill him.
And then
second, they tried to put him in jail. Third, they cheated with mail-in ballot. I know for a fact because we stopped it in Texas, and now they're trying to vote illegal. So remember, the reason we are at a disadvantage, so I never feel secure until we win, is that they are not limited by the truth, by the law, or by decency. They don't follow it. We do. So we won't go prosecute somebody. You wouldn't prosecute somebody, nor would I, that we know is not guilty. They will.
Oh my goodness!
So they have,
goodness, yeah, all the cases.
So they have all these tools that they can use against us that we don't have. So no wonder they're successful. They have opportunity to lie. We won't lie. We treat people with decency. They don't do that. They are in a different. They have all these tools that they can use that we don't have.
Well, it's a long time to the election, really. And Bernie Kerik, the police commissioner we had on earlier, Emerald and I, said he thinks they're going to try again.
It would not surprise me.
He said, why would they try once and fail if try again? And God forbid anybody blames it on them. You'll be they're sort of.
Well, once you blame it on them, then they go on there with their social media and their technology companies.
Yeah, I mean, some of these people are blaming it on him. He caused it with his own rhetoric. I mean, they called him. I got some of it here. They called him Hitler. When you see Latinos for Trump, to me, it's like seeing Jews for Hitler. How about Hillary? Hitler was duly elected. All of a sudden, somebody with those tendencies, dictatorial, authoritarian, would be like, okay, we're going to shut this down. We're going to throw these people in jail. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. He didn't throw them in jail.
Well,
they do it.
Well, yeah,
he could have put her in jail. I wanted him to put her in jail. I mean, I was one of the people that probably was the strongest on putting Hillary in jail. 33,000 emails, maybe 15 false statements.
Yeah.
A totally distasteful human being, too. You just love to see her in jail. And he said he made this sort of Ford decision. It would disrupt the country too much. So, I mean, how can they say he took away democracy? And they're the ones that prosecute their opponents, not him.
They're the ones that, Hitler created the Gestapo to investigate people. That's what they have done. So if anybody needs to be that, it's them.
How about this one? Imagine if Trump had said this a few weeks ago and then Biden got shot. It's time to put Trump in a bullseye.
Oh, my gosh.
Biden said that.
I know. And the world would have gone nuts if Trump said it, or you said it.
And I'll get criticized tomorrow for even suggesting. But this would be the front page of every newspaper, every one of the newspapers, if it was the other way around.
And they'd try to prosecute, and they'd never let go of it.
Right.
You'd have all kinds of FBI agents investigating that.
Well, it's our last chance, huh?
I think it is.
All right. Well, Ken, you do a great job.
Thank you.
You're just one of the very best attorneys general.
Thank you.
You should have had your case before the Supreme Court.
I agree with that.
It was a winner.
It was a winner.
They were afraid of it. I think a certain number of justices, not all ours, but one or two of ours, just felt let's stay at it. The first and only case I argued I knew we were going to go nowhere. I said, the courts are fixed. So let's go to the legislature so we can get this on the record, because they wouldn't let me put witnesses on. And I know why they didn't want witnesses on, because they didn't want a record. So then we were able, after a lot of persuasion, to get Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, and Michigan to take witnesses. So we have 150 witnesses now under oath. And that's what keeps it going.
Yeah.
But the courts have decided no witnesses. Because the minute you put a witness on the stand, it doesn't become Trump or me saying it or Navarro. It's Mary Jones who says, oh, they brought me into Detroit and they showed me how you take phony ballots and attach dead registrations to it, or registrations of people who left the state.
Right.
And we had witnesses like that. They train you how to do it. So I hope we've got a handle on it this time. Time for a break.
Okay.
So we will be back shortly. And Ken, congratulations on doing such a great job.
Thank
in
you.
a great
Appreciate
state.
having me on.
All right. We'll be right back.
I'm excited to announce we're having a huge MyPillow spring sale. And here's a few examples. Buy one of our MyPillow 2.0s, you get another MyPillow 2.0 absolutely free. Made with cooling technology, the best pillow ever just got even better. And this just in, 9 brand new colors and styles of our Percale bed sheets. They're made with the finest long staple cotton, and now you can save 50% or more. That's as low as $24.98. And for the first time this year, I'm bringing you our My Slippers and Sandals for as low as $25 a pair. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your MyPillow 2.0s. Buy one, get one free. Percale sheets as low as $24.98. My Slippers and Sandals as low as $25 a pair. And for a limited time, when you order $75 or more, your entire order ships absolutely free. Mike Lindell here, and like you, I see our country being destroyed daily. We face massive economic issues, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are people in power who threaten the values that have made our country great. Well, I've been a believer in gold and silver for a long time, and I've searched for years for a partner that shares my values. Well, Genesis Gold Group showed me how easy it is to protect your IRA, 401k, or your retirement with gold and silver. Their faith-driven approach to service and stewardship is one that stands out from the rest. So call Genesis Gold Group now at 1-800-200-GOLD. That's 1-800-200-4653, or go to LindellGoldRush.com now.
The beef industry takes another blow as Cricket Burgers win America's best burger for the 4th year in a row. This comes after many major beef processing plants have shut their doors for good.
The beef industry continues to take a dive as cricket farmers skyrocket in demand. The insatiable insects have now overtaken cows as America's favorite animal. A market change that has even caused McDonald's to reevaluate
Cows are now protected cows as America's means they will no longer be seeing beef cows to be put on the endangered species list.
And here's why that might not be such a bad thing. Consider this. Cows are harmful to the environment.
Cows will go extinct.
Introducing the all-new Prepper Bar. These 62.2 gram bars, perforated and easily broken into 3 denominations, will fit all of your needs. Perfect for asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or use it for bartering or trade. Prepper bars make an ideal gift for precious metal lovers. Available in gold and silver, these slim Prepper bars fit neatly into your wallet and can be used in any situation. As gold and silver prices surge and economists predict shortages, now is the time to secure your precious metals with Prepper bars. the only bar divisible into 3 different sizes for maximum utility, tradability, and proudly mined and minted in the United States. These prepper bars are IRA eligible and will help you diversify your wealth. To order your own prepper bars, go to www.frankspeechbar.com. That's www.frankspeechbar.com.
Convention coverage, and you know who this is. This is Wendy Rogers. She's here at the convention, and kind of not much going on the floor right now, huh?
Well, I'm just glad to be here with you, Mayor. You know, you called me a few years ago, and I was in my kitchen.
I remember.
In Flagstaff, and you said, Wendy Rogers, Arizona is as corrupt as Georgia.
Yeah.
And we talked a long time. And since then, I've been in the Arizona Senate, and I've been chairman of the Elections Committee.
Oh,
I've seen it all.
You've been a dynamo, and so important and so necessary.
But you are an inspiration to me because you've been there standing in the gap all this time, and they've tried to take you out, and you never quit.
Well, just like the boss. Just like Donald Trump, we're cut from the same cloth. I thought Saturday, so many things to say about it, but to me, I guess maybe the virtue that inspires me the most is courage.
Yes.
And having almost died on September 11th, and not really actually realizing it until after, and then reflecting on it, I said, "Boy, this guy's got it." You know, and this had happened with me there, not as bad, but in Nevada. In October of 2016, I introduced him. He was giving a speech, and they started somebody yelling in the audience, "Gun, gun, gun!" Secret Service went crazy, as they should. All of a sudden, within seconds, they tackled him like a punitive tackle in football. I mean, they really hurt him.
Right.
And they got him off the stage in seconds, and then they pushed all of us off the stage, and they wanted him to get in the car and go to the airplane. And he looked at me and he said, "I don't want to do that.
Right.
I want to make sure my people are okay." And he stayed against their wishes, and he went out again. And so this isn't like, oh, we did it once for a show. You don't have a chance to think about show at this point.
Right.
When your
It's
life isn't
instinct.
changed like that.
Right.
He just got right up and fought back, and that's the kind of president we need. Can you
Well,
imagine?
that's a combat-tested leader.
Yeah.
And it takes ordinary men under extraordinary circumstances
Yeah.
to see how they react. And he's an innate leader. He understands people. He understands the crowd. He understands what our country needs.
Mhm.
And he knows how to stand in the gap. And I've been with him just a few times briefly, but he is as comfortable in his own skin as anybody I've ever met.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And when he meets people, particularly if they've been prone to hear all of this propaganda about his being mean and Nazi and all the horrible things they say about him, actually they're shocked. If I've had 1,000 people say to me, "My God, he's such a nice guy."
More than nice, he's so generous.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
self-effacing and funny. And I just read a quote where he said something about, well, that's not an iconic photo of me. It'd be iconic if I had died, but I lived.
Yeah, I did hear that. I did hear that. Yeah.
And so that we should be so lucky to have someone like this.
We are.
Lead us.
We are.
And I think
And we're not going to blow it this time, right?
No, well, they will try to cheat, Mayor. They will try
I
every
know.
bit
How
of
are
corruption.
how are we in Arizona?
I'm guardedly optimistic. I mean, they're registering.
Can we keep it?
We have to.
Can we keep it safe?
I hope so. I did get a big bill passed that will.
I know you did.
Shore up a lot of the issues we had. But you know, Hobbs stole the governorship. The AG was stolen.
That was a big blow.
Yeah, Abe Hamaday won that race, and there are still 9,000 provisional ballots that never got counted.
Wow.
The legislature is what we're honestly very concerned about because we only have the one-vote majority in the Senate and the House, and the legislature is all we have left to guide the state, the ship of state. We have over 25 lawsuits that the Arizona legislature is a party to against Hobbs and others to combat all this overreach.
What a shame. What a shame.
And we have a provision in the state constitution to send something directly to the ballot for the voters to decide. And just today we were upheld, and it will go to the ballot, our border security bill, which will stipulate that any illegal who's coming through other than where a checkpoint is, state law enforcement can stop them.
Oh, that's terrific.
And that was taken to court, and we were upheld just today.
So, how is it in Alabama?
Arizona.
In Arizona, are the polls? Are we okay? I mean, the polls have them like up about 5-6 points.
I think that's accurate.
You think that's right?
Yes, and of course we hope that Carrie Lake can be on those coattails and beat the Democrat.
So she's behind what, about a point or two?
Maybe. She's up against a Democrat who's heavily funded. He's despicable. He's a U.S. congressman from Phoenix.
I don't understand how people in Arizona, inundated by a massive invasion, which you've gotten the worst of since Texas sort of straightened things out a little. How are they going to vote? Why do they? How they vote for this nutty guy?
It's hard to understand.
I mean, a couple of the other senators that you elected, like Sinema, and they were sort of rational.
Well, she's really not.
But she's more rational than this guy.
Yes. She puts on as though she is, and he is. His ads are, I was a Marine and I was in combat and so on, and people believe this stuff. And they asked me, well, why isn't Carrie advertising now? Because she's keeping her money to build up for the general election. She doesn't really have too much competition in the primary.
Right.
So she has to be careful with her resources.
And you have a late primary,
Yes, it's happening right now.
Right.
Voting day, election day, is July 30th. But as Carrie says, we have voting month in Arizona. So, yeah.
So, but isn't it a foregone conclusion, the candidates?
In terms of her...
The Senate, yeah.
She will win her primary.
Right, and he will.
And, right, yes. The candidates,
So
yes.
you really are in a general election already.
Yes, and we have to keep the state legislature. So, for example, I have an opponent who's a virtual Democrat, and I will win, but this is what they try to do.
Right.
When it's a Republican district, as mine is, which is rural, and it's a huge swath of 4 counties, they put in a Republican who's voted with the Democrats consistently and with Hobbs to try to run against me and say he's a Republican. Now, I'm smarter than that and have a great campaign and I'll defeat him, but this is what they try.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Well, it was a shame 4 years ago when we weren't aware of this and ready for it. I think we have, in most places, enough in place so that we can fight it off.
We have to.
But they will do anything. So of course,
yes.
it just leaves you, no matter what, it always leaves you with a certain degree of insecurity about it.
Well, what we have to do is continue to inspire voters because hundreds of thousands of evangelicals didn't turn their ballots in. So we have this fantastic ballot chase program that Turning Point is executing.
Right. Oh, that's great.
Yes.
That's great. That's right. They're very active in
and what they've done is they've hired people to go into the to reach out from the precincts in which they live to warm up their neighborhood relationships to make sure people turn in their ballots because people weren't doing that. In Carrie Lake's campaign, there were, I think, 200,000 ballots that evangelicals didn't turn in. So churches are being reached out to, neighborhoods. And this is what the Democrats do well.
Yeah.
And now we're doing it.
Well, that's good. Now, do you it's kind of a strange question to ask. I almost feel embarrassed asking it, but you think it so. I assume that this situation that happened where they're trying to kill him and the way he reacted in particular has to help him.
I would think, but I was just talking...
Particularly in comparison to what we have in the White House.
Sure.
I mean, he's like a dead rag.
Right. I mean, we're peaked now in terms of popularity and momentum, but we have 4 months left.
Yeah.
And memories are short. And I talked to Corey Mills of Florida today. We're both
You're right.
military veterans, and he is in imminent danger regardless. And people like me there's a guy serving 2.5 years in prison for having threatened my life. And we have to combat it. We have to beef up security, and it's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, So I had Bernie Kerik on earlier, and Bernie came to me a while back and said, "You've got to go see him and tell him to be careful because I'm sure they're going to make an attempt." And I had thought that, for months and months, and never always felt funny raising it with him. We finally went to him. And he, since then, on his own, he's been aware that this is a possibility. Right. So it's not as if he's, in a way, people say, well, why isn't he shocked? I think he was expecting it to happen.
Well, Tucker Carlson predicted it.
Yeah. And Bernie had written an article about it in the
New York
they've
been
Post.
telegraphing it for years.
But it was as if, but he wasn't in denial about it.
Right.
In other words, that could happen, and a candidate could say, I don't believe that.
You have to. I wore a bulletproof vest for 3 parades on July 4th last week. I bought the best one. Our son, who's a Marine, who's head of security for his church, said, "Mom, you need to buy the $1,200 thin bulletproof vest from this really good company in Nevada, and it's custom made, and you need to order that."
And that's because you're running for public office.
And I'm in a parade in northern Arizona walking along.
How impossible is that? I mean, that's just terrible. But boy, do we have to change that, and so much rides on this election.
Yes.
Imagine if they had taken him out. Oh, my God.
I know. When I got the call and the texts, I was mortified there for a moment. And then I got on Twitter and then figured it all out. But we have to stay strong. We have to stay resilient. We cannot change our methods because that's what the enemy wants. We just have to be extra precautious and beef up security, and also find out if this was an inside job or not.
Yeah, and of course they're going to investigate it.
Fox
we'll never find out.
Right.
I mean, if you don't do a really fair and really good, credible investigation, you're going to have another Kennedy situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're asking us to accept another coincidence. It's like I say, they try to have us accept the coincidence that his family got $31 million from China, and he gave up the Bagram Air Base 400 miles from China for no reason. That was a fully operational, one of our best air bases, giving us an unbelievable strategic advantage over China. So someday, if we're at war with China, an American president is going to curse Biden for doing it. But how do you escape the fact that there's no sensible explanation for it except the $31 million?
Mm-hmm.
I have to accept the coincidence. It's not even investigated. Nobody even raises it.
It's treason.
It's tragic what the press has allowed him to get away with.
They're complicit.
Yeah.
They're not a free press.
Here's what I wonder. Now that they've turned on the Times and some of the others, if he does remain the candidate, what are they going to do?
Well, don't you think the debate was a setup to showcase how decrepit he is?
Yeah, but it didn't work. With him.
Right.
Or his wife.
Now with the assassination attempt, all of the push to replace him has receded.
Right.
And so now you have really someone who's not competitive or
You think the Democrats, it's hard for me to see the Democrats do that, might say, well, we're going to lose this one, let's not waste a good candidate on it.
I've heard that.
And he's only 4 years, and
we have the deep state entrenched enough to undermine Trump.
Yeah, we'll do what we did to him last time.
Right.
I don't think they're going to be able to do what they did last time.
Agreed.
He's a lot more aware. I know that for sure. He's a lot more aware. He knows what he's got to do. They're going to get quite a shock.
Right.
And I don't mean, they love to do this vindictive prosecution.
No.
I don't mean that. I mean changing the government. I mean getting rid of them.
Fundamentally changing the nature of it.
Yeah. You just got to get rid of them.
Right.
And we don't need them anyway. I mean, we could have half the government that we have and it would function just as well. I got rid of so many people in city government. They used to always write editorials. City government wouldn't work. It worked better than it ever did before.
It's going to be getting rid of, say, for example, do you think he would get rid of the FBI? Would we get away with that?
I think the FBI has to be reconstituted
as
a different kind of law enforcement organization. maybe merge together with the Drug Enforcement Administration and get rid of the name. They've disgraced themselves.
Mm-hmm. What about CIA?
CIA is probably even worse. The CIA has
there
to be
are so many
completely.
three-letter
CIA has to be
intelligence
completely reconstituted.
Right, but you have the NSA. You have so many other agencies. What do you think?
The good thing is, well, the agents are going to be hard to replace, and a lot of the agents can be salvaged with the right leadership. Particularly I don't know the CIA as well, particularly the FBI. It's the leadership, but the leadership is, you're talking about 5,000 or 10,000 people, not just a few people.
Right.
And you've got to get rid of them. And law enforcement's a little hard to say this, but in most areas we don't need them. I mean, somebody made the argument, oh, it's terrible, he's going to do it with the Department of Education.
They've never educated one student.
Since we've had the Department of Education, our educational system for our children has constantly declined.
Right.
Right. And in New York, since I was the mayor, we pay twice as much per student, and they've gone from like 3rd, 4th, 5th in the country to 27th.
Well,
so we've gone from $15,000 a student to $34,000 a student, and they've become one of the worst school systems in the country. The more money you spend, the worse they get.
We're big on educational choice
Mm-hmm.
in
Me
Arizona,
too.
and we have what's called the ESA, Empowerment Scholarship Account, which essentially says you can designate $7,000 per student, homeschool, parochial school, whatever alternative you've chosen, and use that money as you see fit for what is best for that child.
Right,
and
right.
that has worked very well, and we've guarded that in the state budget. Hobbs wanted to do away with it, and that was a non-starter when we negotiated the budget.
She's a real disaster.
She's a communist. She's a vacuous vessel. They just.
Well, say hello to all my friends. I got to get back to Arizona during the campaign.
We would love it.
Okay.
You got to come out.
Maybe we'll do a show there.
I would love it.
Listen to everybody.
You look good.
Well, I feel. Look. When you know what's right and what's wrong.
Right.
And here it isn't ambiguous. Sometimes having been a prosecutor, there are very tough decisions.
Right.
The line is very close. Is it right? Is it wrong? What's the right decision? What's moral? This is easy. I mean, from the day I started representing him, I knew they were framing him.
Mm-hmm.
I knew Russian collusion was a lie. I was with him all during the campaign. There were no Russians talking to him. It had nothing to do with Russia. I knew it was made up. Did I know it was as intricate as it was, or as criminal? I didn't know she paid for example.
Mm-hmm.
I even thought, as his lawyer, I better find out what the facts are that got misinterpreted.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there were no facts.
Right.
Back then, if you told me the things that would happen, I'd have said, you're crazy. You're crazy. Nobody would do that. They wouldn't fix an election, and they wouldn't make up a story about the Ukraine, and nobody would keep a president who got $31 million from China. I mean, even if his family kept the money, any other president would be thrown out on his backside.
But this is what the left does. They're so brazen, they're so in your face, and they push the window so far. They depend on us thinking that way.
Yeah.
They depend on us thinking,
well,
they
never
how
do
could
that.
this happen?
Yeah.
And
how many people didn't accept the fact that the election was fraudulent in a number of states?
Right.
Because they would never do that.
Right.
And the New York Times writes that. The New York Times writes, well, that's exaggerated. Fixing elections is exaggerated. In New York, we've been fixing elections for 200 years. We cheat in elections when we don't have to practice. I mean, New York and Philadelphia, cheating is a sport.
Right.
And that's why they never, the first time I ran for office, I was told that I had really won, and they had all these ballots that were wrong, and dead people, and people that had moved out. And I said, I really can't contest it because, number one, it was very close. And number two, I go into a Democratic court. No Republican has won in a Democratic court in 200 years. Our court system is corrupt.
Right.
The judges, when you see a judge like the judges that were on his case, they're appointed by politicians.
Right.
And by county leaders who have a terrible reputation. I mean, we've been corrupt since Boss Tweed. That's why I was shocked about Arizona, because I always think of the newer states as I see a lot of the corruption in being part of the older, like Chicago or Philadelphia or New York, the older Democrat Party. I mean, Chicago, 60 years of Democratic rule. And over the 4th of July, 100 people shot and 19 people killed, and they still vote Democrat. But Arizona always seemed to me to be different.
You would think, but boy, it's corrupt. And
yeah,
the
I know. I saw it.
The lobbyists at the Capitol too. I don't take a dime from lobbyists, and they run when they see me coming, which is great. But that's a problem too. I got one last question for you. The military. I come from a storied 5 generations of military officers, and I was talking to a guy, son of a politician actually, who just got out of the Army. He was airborne, infantry, 5 years, very respectable guy. And I asked him point blank, how much of the military is salvageable and is not woke? And you know what percentage he told me? 15% are left that aren't woke. So I said, if President Trump is reelected and wants to clean up the military, is it salvageable? And he looked me in the eye and he said, yes. Those who lead, the NCOs, the sergeants, the ones who maybe had a DUI or something but haven't been kicked out, but are these hard guys who will go into combat like George Patton and do or die, and their men know it and will follow them. Those kind of guys will lead the military back to the way it can be. And I'm hopeful. But
I think he's right. I look at the police department in New York, which is a military-type organization.
Right.
And it was in terrible shape when I took over. Terrible morale problems.
Yes.
Like it has now, because the mayor would always turn on them.
Yes.
Constantly turn on them. And they were in fear if they arrested somebody, they'd lose their job.
Right.
It took a while to turn them around, but it was easier than the other agencies because they are paramilitary, and they do have somewhere deep inside, when they first did it, they did it for the right reason.
Yes.
And I'm sure there's probably too many. But even among that 85%, I bet half of them can be salvaged. And then if you got the military working right, as you know, our recruits go way up.
Yes.
I mean, people, we got to restore people respecting our military again, and like our police.
Right.
New York City is down to the lowest number of police officers since way before I was mayor.
Gosh.
Well, I was at 41,000. It's down to like 32,000, and largely because people are leaving and nobody wants to join.
Right.
That could be changed. Of all the problems that have to be fixed, that's the one you could fix. And a president like Trump is perfect for that because he loves the military. He conveys that.
And
it's the kind of organization that if you love it, it responds.
And our adversaries...
CIA, you can't love the CIA.
Right.
It's not going to work.
Our adversaries will see that.
Yeah.
They'll see that we're not woke anymore, and we're not bringing in people to give them transgender operations.
But China and Russia got to be looking back and saying, well, thank you for doing that to the military.
Right.
They must also think, where'd you get this guy Biden? Oh, maybe they put him there.
Well, there you go.
I mean, I'll believe anything now. Well, Wendy, I can't thank you enough. When things were tough, you were really there.
And you.
And when things were tough, there were a lot of people that weren't there.
We
know that.
Remain there.
All right.
Thank you,
God
Mayor.
bless you.
God
What an
bless
American.
You.
Wow.
God bless America.
Oh. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll see where we are at the convention.
I'm excited to announce we're having a huge MyPillow spring sale, and here's a few examples. Buy one of our MyPillow 2.0s, you get another MyPillow 2.0 absolutely free. Made with cooling technology, the best pillow ever just got even better. And this just in, 9 brand new colors and styles of our Percale bed sheets. They're made with the finest long staple cotton, and now you can save 50% or more. That's as low as $24.98. And for the first time this year, I'm bringing you our My Slippers and Sandals for as low as $25 a pair.
So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your MyPillow 2.0s. Buy one, get one free. Percale sheets as low as $24.98. My slippers and sandals as low as $25 a pair. And for a limited time, when you order $75 or more, your entire order ships absolutely free. Mike Lindell here, and like you, I see our country being destroyed daily. We face massive economic issues, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are people in power who threaten the values that have made our country great. Well, I've been a believer in gold and silver for a long time, and I've searched for years for a partner that shares my values. Well, Genesis Gold Group showed me how easy it is to protect your IRA, 401k, or your retirement with gold and silver. Their faith-driven approach to service and stewardship is one that stands out from the rest. So call Genesis Gold Group now at 1-800-200-GOLD. That's 1-800-200-4653, or go to LindellGoldRush.com now.
The beef industry takes another blow as Cricket Burgers win America's best burger for the 4th year in a row. This comes after many major beef processing plants have shut their doors for good.
The beef industry continues to take a dive as cricket farmers skyrocket in demand. The insatiable insects have now overtaken cows as America's favorite animal. A market change that has even caused McDonald's to
Crickets have cows are now a protected species, which means they will no longer be seen cows to be put on the endangered species list.
And here's why that might not be such a bad thing. Consider this. Cows are harmful to the environment.
Cows will go extinct.
Introducing the all-new Prepper Bar. These 62.2 gram bars, perforated and easily broken into 3 denominations, will fit all of your needs. Perfect for asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or use it for bartering or trade. Prepper bars make an ideal gift for precious metal lovers. Available in gold and silver, these slim Prepper bars fit neatly into your wallet and can be used in any situation. As gold and silver prices surge and economists predict shortages, now is the time to secure your precious metals with Prepper bars. The only bar divisible into 3 different sizes for maximum utility, tradability, and proudly mined and minted in the United States, these Prepper bars are IRA eligible and will help you diversify your wealth. To order your own Prepper bars, go to www.frankspeechbar.com. That's www.frankspeechbar.com.
I'm excited to announce we're having a huge MyPillow spring sale, and here's a few examples. Buy one of our MyPillow 2.0s, you get another MyPillow 2.0 absolutely free. Made with cooling technology, the best pillow ever just got even better. And this just in, 9 brand new colors and styles of our Percale bed sheets. They're made with the finest long staple cotton, and now you can save 50% or more. That's as low as $24.98. And for the first time this year, I'm bringing you our My Slippers and Sandals for as low as $25 a pair. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your MyPillow 2.0s. Buy one, get one free. Percale sheets as low as $24.98. My Slippers and Sandals as low as $25 a pair. And for a limited time, when you order $75 or more, your entire order ships absolutely free. Mike Lindell here, and like you, I see our country being destroyed daily. We face massive economic issues, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are people in power who threaten the values that have made our country great. Well, I've been a believer in gold and silver for a long time, and I've searched for years for a partner that shares my values. Well, Genesis Gold Group showed me how easy it is to protect your IRA, 401k, or your retirement with gold and silver. Their faith-driven approach to service and stewardship is one that stands out from the rest. So call Genesis Gold Group now at 1-800-200-GOLD. That's 1-800-200-4653, or go to LindaleGoldRush.com now.
The beef industry takes another blow as Cricket Burgers win America's best burger for the 4th year in a row. This comes after many major beef processing plants have shut their doors for good.
The beef industry continues to take a dive as cricket burgers skyrocket in demand. The insatiable insects have now overtaken cows as America's favorite animal. A market change that has even caused McDonald's to
crickets have cows are now protected species, which means they will no longer be seen cows to be put on the endangered species list.
And here's why that might not be such a bad thing. Consider this. Cows are harmful to the environment.
Cows will go extinct.
Introducing the all-new Prepper Bar. These 62.2 gram bars, perforated and easily broken into 3 denominations, will fit all of your needs. Perfect for asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or use it for bartering or trade. Prepper bars make an ideal gift for precious metal lovers. Available in gold and silver, these slim Prepper bars fit neatly into your wallet and can be used in any situation. As gold and silver prices surge and economists predict shortages, now is the time to secure your precious metals with Prepper bars. The only bar divisible into 3 different sizes for maximum utility, tradability, and proudly mined and minted in the United States, these Prepper bars are IRA eligible and will help you diversify your wealth. To order your own Prepper bars, go to www.frankspeechbar.com. That's www.frankspeechbar.com.
Welcome back. This is Rudy Giuliani, and we're at the Republican convention, and we have Bryce Reeves with us, a senator from the great state of Virginia, which is one of the states that we're the most excited about because we haven't had the state in a long time, and a couple of polls have it even or maybe a little ahead.
I think we're a little ahead, Mayor. I think we might be a little ahead. I mean, our governor just gave a great address here at the RNC, and I think he was on the short list.
He gave a great speech the day after the. I mean, it was a great day because it was a victory day, but he gave a great speech that day.
Yeah,
I don't know him that well, and I haven't seen him that much, and I was really impressed.
He's come a long way. You know, he's in his 3rd year, and you know, when you're elected in Virginia, you're a lame duck when you get elected.
That's crazy.
Well, I've carried the legislation. We just can't get it through. You know, we've got a Democrat-controlled legislature, so some things just aren't changed. And the legislature likes having all the power, right?
But you can run again later.
You can.
Right?
Yeah, you can have Terry. That's how Terry McAuliffe came back and lost. Right?
He beat himself, didn't he?
Yeah, right.
I mean, McAuliffe ran a great race, but that's stupid remarkable.
Yeah, parents don't need to know what their kids are doing.
Do you know, that proves to me that he's a damn Marxist.
Yeah.
That the children are property of the state.
Yeah,
that's one of Marx's major propositions. If you're going to turn a country, you got to take the children away from the parents.
Of course.
And look what they're doing.
Change the ideology, right?
Yeah, and how sometimes you think you live in a surreal world, not the real world. They chop up children and don't tell the parents.
Well, listen, my fiance and I just got back from Israel, and what a life-changing trip for us to watch.
Yeah.
We went to the concert site, and we also went into a kibbutz, and we talked to a hostage that has made it home, and we talked to families that still haven't made it home, and the atrocities that Hamas inflicted upon the Jewish people. I'm a former Army Ranger, and there is some rules of warfare, and this isn't war. This is just terrorism, flat out barbarism, and it's a shame that we are where we are. But if you look where we are in this country right now, we've got the right man at the helm, and he's going to need a lot more support. You are one of my heroes, and you've undergone so many just trials and tribulations, putting your name forward in service of our country, and on behalf of just a regular guy, thank you for doing that, Mayor.
Oh, Senator, thank you.
I ran across you this morning.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It's like makes your life worthwhile.
Well,
when you can do that. I bet you feel that way about. Your whole life is public service. If I think about it, right? The military, the police, 13 years in the legislature.
Well, it's a calling, right? You're not getting rich off it or anything else, and it's a calling, and it is.
It makes you feel like you're contributing, and you are.
Well, listen, I have children, and I want to leave a better world than the way we have found it.
Not that way right now.
No.
I mean, if God forbid we were to die right now, our kids would be in a worse world unless this comes out right.
Well, let me encourage you a little bit. I've got a daughter who is 24, and she fell into politics. I didn't ask any of my kids because I know how hard it is.
Yeah.
She works for a great U.S. Senator, Josh Hawley, doing his communications. And then I've got a 20-year-old son who's at Texas A&M, the Corps of Cadets, who will commission as a second lieutenant soon in the Army. So, I've done my share. My two are good, and they're conservative, and they're moving forward. So we've got some good kids coming forward. But I know a lot.
But you want them to have a world that was like the world that we had. Where
you can send your kids out at night and they come back when the night lights come on, right?
And we did what we actually practiced what we preach, which is everybody has opportunity, and the harder you work, the better you do.
Right.
And instead, I live in a city that was plagued by generational welfare when I became the mayor. I ended it, and they're recreating it.
Well, we talked earlier before we came on air about I studied at Harvard Kennedy School in a graduate degree there about your ComStat and the way that you approached policing and the job that you did, and you took away the you started using technology and data to drive your policing models, and what a difference that made when you looked at those hotspot areas and you said, okay, we're going to go out and we're going to have zero tolerance in these hotspot areas because it's the same criminals doing the same things. It's a rotational thing. We've seen this happen before. I mean, the nation needs to go back to ComStat, right? Overall, I mean, if you really think about where we are and where the left has done to the judicial system about this, just changing all the laws, let them off, get them out early. We had all those violations on the parole board in Virginia.
Do you have that in Virginia too?
Oh yes. Let me tell you, we had a whole scandal where the chairman of the parole board wasn't even following the law and releasing prisoners. And then we had one of them that got released and a week later wound up murdering somebody.
That shocks. When I hear those things about Virginia, I'm used to it now, but at first it was like, I can't believe this. I always think of Virginia as being a conservative state, but kind of a sensible, not certainly not liberal, but not even far right. A real sensible, common sense state.
Reasonable, prudent.
Where even the Democrats, I would know in Virginia, were reasonable.
Well,
they were.
They were. I don't know there anymore. I think the boiling point for us.
I lived in Virginia for a few years when I was in the Reagan administration.
That's right. Yeah. Up in Northern Virginia, if I remember right. Well, I think that's the one reason why Youngkin came into being was, I wrote the bill probably my freshman year that said parents have the fundamental right for the care, education, and upbringing of their children that shall not be infringed. That's the law. But then look.
That's a really novel proposition. It's only about 3,000 years old.
Right. Well, we got into Loudoun County. Loudoun County had that deal where they had the transgender student go in and not only rape one child, but
nightmare.
Raped another, and then the school board and the school superintendent, they tried to cover it all up. And so, you had parents just in an uproar. And for so long, I think Republicans and conservatives kind of gave up on school boards and stuff, and the left filled that gap, and they've continued to fill it. But I think you've seen the change in the country that comes around, and now we're running for school boards. We are changing these things.
Isn't that great?
It's phenomenal.
That is great. My son ran for governor, and he lost the primary, but he ran a really nice race, and his big constituency were the parents.
Of course.
Because it happened the year after. It happened the year after Youngkin ran, and the parents in New York were really organized. And it's our one hope, really, even in New York, that eventually they're going to win out.
Well, look, at the end of the day, people divide themselves up by their political influence, religion, all these other things. But at the end of the day, we're parents. and we want what's best for our kids and our grandkids. And I think even if you're on the left, you know when something's wrong, and you see that, and they can see, some of them, hey, they go along with the indoctrination of their children, but I think you see that happening, and that movement is moving forward. You have these groups like Moms for Liberty, all these other, kind of parental rights type organizations coming up, and I think that makes the changes. But at the end of the day, we have to win elections, and that's why this year is so important.
So what's going to make the difference in Virginia this time?
Well,
and is there? I never had a chance to look at it because we knew we couldn't turn Virginia because of the legislature and the governor. But we had a lot of allegations of cheating in Virginia. We never followed them up, but a lot.
So as soon as we lost the majority, after you helped me and we won the majority, we lost the majority, and that's when we got rid of voter ID. That's when they went to 45 days of early voting. All these things, that systematic plan that the Democrats ran across the country, got put into place. And so ever since then, we've been digging ourselves out, and we've had to re-educate Republicans. Because and that's the hardest thing to do, is to re-educate them to say, we won all the absentee ballots except this last year I stood for re-election. In one Senate district, we only lost it by 300 absentee ballots. But the key to us was the second Tuesday in November is no longer election day. That's the last day you can vote.
Yeah, and we resisted that.
We did.
Even the president resisted it. He's embraced it now, though.
Yeah, we have to, because look, until we get majorities, we can't change it back anyway.
Yeah.
Right. And so we've always been kind of a couple steps behind. But I think the question you asked me was how do we win Virginia this year? I think those same issues, our Democrats have stepped on it so much. We were tied to the California emission standards, if you can believe that. And so we were trying to figure out, and our Attorney General and our Governor have gotten us out of that. And then this year, we actually, in our budget, got rid of the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative.
Your last governor, made the most unbelievable statement about killing a baby after.
I remember it verbatim. A baby can be born, a baby can get comfortable, and
Trump has it memorized.
Yeah.
But it was shocking. Now, you don't know, because you're in New York, when we passed our abortion anytime right up until the moment of birth, at least it stops there. Do you know they had a standing ovation in a party that night, a ball?
Right.
How now, I think it's murder, but
I agree with you.
Even if I didn't think it was murder, how would I celebrate it? Who can say, even if you're pro-choice, and that's your honest belief, and you have a different view of when life begins and whatever, how can you celebrate eliminating a potential life?
Well,
and by the time they're 7, 8, and 9 months, the debate's over.
Well, my thing is, here's the best thing. You'll love this part. Go and ask those same women that are telling you, my body, my choice. Say, is it okay for a woman to go ahead and do intravenous drugs and crack and smoke and drink? Well, no, that's harm for the baby. Wait. They'll tell you that.
Yeah, you harm the baby. It's okay to kill it.
Correct, but not harm it. It's just I don't know that they truly understand. That every life has great human potential.
I mean, I go around saying Biden's platform's simple. He's running on his biggest issue is killing babies.
Well,
he's going to kill as many babies as possible. In New York, the last couple of years, I don't know about this year, there are more black babies that are aborted than born.
Well, that Moffat 21, if you've ever seen that series, Moffat 21 talks about Planned Parenthood and how they went about some of those things, and if you've ever really studied the issue.
Well, Planned Parenthood was as racist an organization.
Right.
I can't understand how they tear down statues of people that were, marginally this or marginally that. And two things, the biggest racist institutions in this country, Planned Parenthood and the Democrat Party. They almost invented slavery.
Well, it's the Republicans that got rid of slavery, if I remember history right, but maybe they rewrote that too.
Don't they have to change the name? I mean, they change every other name.
I don't know. Well,
how are you? How's your race?
We're good. I'm the whip of the Senate here. We're doing well. We've got to worry about the House. We've got to control that. We won last year. We're 21-19, so we won another seat. It's always been close in the Senate. That year I won, and you helped me. It would be the second time since Reconstruction of the Civil War that the Senate would go Republican under McDonnell. So that tells you did a good job. But no, it's going well. You know, I'm here at the request of the Trump Organization.
Good.
You know, I was going to go in the administration last go around, and I turned it down. But I don't think I'll turn it down this time.
Good.
So,
Good.
I'm
I thought
ready to
maybe
go to
you'd run
work.
for governor.
No, I've tried that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've tried for higher office, and I don't know that that's where God's calling me. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
well, you got to follow. You're a man of many, many talents. Extraordinary patriot, dedicated to your country.
Like you.
And
we've got mentors like you and guys that went before us.
He's going to have a tough job. He's going to have 4 years to do it, which I think is good. You know, a lot of people say, "Well, you can't do it in 4 years." Yes, you can if you want.
Yeah.
If you
work
want to
hard
do
enough,
it.
yeah.
I always found that the time pressure produces much better results. Sometimes if you think you have 8 years, you know, I have forever.
Well,
my most effective time in office was when I had to drop out of running for the Senate because I got prostate cancer. And my consolation prize was I got a year and a half more to do the job that I loved. And secretly, I didn't really want to run for the Senate. I was doing it for the party.
Right.
A lot of people talked me into it, and I hate Hillary, and I thought I was the only who could beat her. And then I got prostate cancer, and I couldn't campaign anymore. And all of a sudden, I felt bad for a day or two, and I felt this great resurgence. Oh, I got a year and a half more. And I got more done in that year and a half than I did in the entire, because I knew I had to get it done. Like the CompStat program I invented at the beginning. But what I did with it, I made it public, transparent. Because I said, the damn Democrats take over, people are going to know how much crime they create.
Right.
And you know it's working right now.
Right.
Every week they put out, crime has gone up, crime has gone down, this crime has gone up, that crime has gone down. And it terrorizes the mayor.
Let me tell your listening audience, they may not know about anything what we're talking about.
Right.
So I forget what year it was, but this fine mayor here had a brilliant idea to actually, if this sounds amazing, it's because he's a great thinker, to use data to drive their policing models. So in other words, they would get hotspots in certain parts of the city. Well, what they found through the data process was a lot of these folks are same repeat offenders, right?
Career criminals, yeah.
Career criminals. And what they did was they started to use their arrest and the crimes and incidents and putting these things together. And what they would do is they would allocate more resources, in other words, more officers, and they'd go and they'd have almost a zero tolerance on any kind, if you were jaywalking, if you were spitting on the, they cleaned up all the streets where they had open air drug markets and they had prostitution. The streets got cleaned up. Families could go out and have tricycles on the sidewalk again and run through. And it changed New York.
Yeah.
And that model today is still being taught at the Harvard School and the Kennedy School as one of the greatest programs ever put into place. And you know, you hear community policing after that and some of those things, but that community policing doesn't really drive the enforcement side of cleaning a city, and you've done that. You made New York City one of the top cities in the world. I think that 2 or 3 years later, one of the cleanest cities, one of the most safe and secure cities. And you know what? Somebody's got to do it again, because if you look at all the immigrants,
the model is there. It's like Trump. It's very fortunate we have him, but in the future, if other people become president, they've got a model now.
Right.
And I think within another 4 years, it'll be really solidified, because, and I also think, I'm praying on this, that what happened is going to turn people's minds a little, and they're going to get to look at him differently. He's been a friend of mine for 35, maybe more. I can't. 1985, 86,
really?
Yeah. And
Reagan time.
Not only that, he was a Democrat at first.
Right.
I was, I think, the first Republican he supported, and he supported me consistently. He supported me against Hillary.
Right.
He supported me against Koch, against Dinkins, he supported me every time I ran. And I never had to work on him. He's a very loyal guy. Once he decides he likes you, he likes you.
Right.
And he's with you forever unless you double cross him.
Yeah, of course.
But he's a very good guy. He's a great father. Now, you know, he's had 3 marriages. That can be tough. And he's had a crazy public life. He's got great kids.
Right. They've all pretty straightforward.
Now compare that to Biden.
Right.
Biden won't even meet with his granddaughter. What a bum that is.
Right.
I mean, for that, he's president, so I can't say this, but you know what you'd like to do to him. for not meeting with his granddaughter.
Well, you know,
from an Italian family, you know what that's like? That meeting with your granddaughter. My father would come out of his grave and haunt him.
Right.
And he won't meet with her because it hurt his puny political career.
Well, I don't know how much career he has left. Or
but
cognitive
he thinks,
abilities.
you never know what he thinks. He is because he is demented, and even before he was demented, he was stupid. So you don't know what. I also know him for 35 years. First time I met him, my chief of staff said, "You got to go meet Joe Biden." I went to law school with him. He's a great guy. You're gonna love him. But
Really?
But he's
Biden's an attorney?
Biden's an attorney. Yeah.
No way.
Oh, he just made it through law school. But the friend who likes him said
he passed the bar too, or just made it to law school.
Well, they say he passed the bar. He basically almost got thrown out of law school, and then he plagiarized.
Shocker.
He got caught plagiarizing.
Oh, like
he
the
cheated
president of
his
Harvard.
way. And I was also told that nobody wanted to sit next to him because he'd get in trouble because he was always looking over your paper. But he's got the dumbest kid on the block syndrome. He's got a chip on his shoulder, which is he's always known as the dumbest person in the Senate.
I think we're gonna have to finish this over a cold test.
Mayor Giuliani, President Trump is in the tunnel. I may be signaling you soon, and we're going to go live to President Trump taking the stage.
Are you serious?
He's here.
Wow. Well, you all stay for that one because that's going to be quite a reception after what happened on Saturday. And this is only 2 days later, and here he is in front of his adoring fans who made him president the first time. And these people would
Teflon Don.
These people would die for him. Did you see those people didn't even move? I mean, you get something like that, people go in a panic, and they just sat there. I mean, they were just worried about him. They just sat there. Then they ducked a little, but they just stayed there.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they cheered him.
Yeah.
Right. Can you believe he had the wherewithal? He had the wherewithal to reassure the American that.
Okay, we're going to go to the floor.
There he is.
Greenwood.
He's got a bandage on it, huh?
Hello, RNC.
Well, we're still on.
Oh, Lee Greenwood's singing.
Oh, I hope he's gonna sing.
Greenwood.
I hope
know
he's
that
gonna
guy.
sing my favorite song.
Well, I can't believe I get to share this night with you. That's pretty good.
Can we switch to it?
To save his life to be the next president of the United States.
Gosh, he looks good. He looks good.
He looks
We
determined.
have believed for so long that God will make some changes in this country. And he's about to make a change in the current administration and send them home.
We are going to Lee Greenwood and the remarkable, courageous president of the United States, or soon
for
to be.
America. More prosperity, less gas prices, less food prices, help for our veterans, and God bless our military wherever they are in these United States. And
I thought he was going to wait.
I did too.
Like a few days to build up his suspense.
Please welcome the next president of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
I think he's going to cry.
No.
Yeah.
He's steely-eyed resolve.
He'll be okay when he gets out there.
You're right. I see it. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Very tomorrow, all the things were gone.
And he loves his people.
Worked for all my life, and I had to start again. Just my children and my wife.
Come on, it humbles you.
Thank my lucky stars to be living here today.
I don't care who you are.
Because the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.
We got it on, right?
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
What?
The man
Where'd you
who
go?
died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you.
Oh my
and defend
God.
her still still today.
They must have known he was. Usually it's not packed on the first night. They must have known he was coming.
Sing it.
No, we were just there. We came down there to do an interview.
Yeah. When I talked to him today.
We are here tonight with one purpose, and that is to elect Donald J. Trump as the next president of the United States.
Don Jr. is tearing up.
He is here tonight to show his courage, his defiance against somebody who tried to kill him. You will not take this man down. He has the courage, the strength, and he will be the next president of the United States. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea. Ladies and gentlemen, the 45th President of the United States and soon to be the 47th President of the United States, please welcome Donald J. Trump. Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Mr. President.
He always keeps you guessing. You don't know what he's doing next.
No, I don't know if he's going to speak or not speak.
Please
He's
welcome
standing there.
Mark
He's not.
Laws from Cedar Springs, Michigan.
Oh, no, they're not going to let him to get away without speaking,
He's going to say something. Is that a minister? I think it's like a minister to close it. It's 10 after 11 Eastern time.
You like to do that, Speaker, and they're yelling, "We want Trump."
Yeah,
Boy,
yeah, get out of here.
Oh, they're saying we love Trump. Okay, I hear you.
Bryce was saying, who wants to be this guy? He's pretty emotional. This guy's emotional. I think so. It looks like he's getting ready to do a benediction or something.
Good evening, I'm Mark Laws and I live in Western Michigan. I'm not a senator or a governor or some other politician, but I'm just a regular guy.
Huh?
But to my kids and my grandkids who call me Peepaw, I'm the guy. I live on a fixed income, so I'm not one of the people that watch their portfolios. No, in the big boy Joe economy, I just worry about getting through the day.
Oh, this
but I'm
is a good
fortunate
choice.
because I don't have a mortgage. If I did, I'm really not sure how I'd make it. The big boy Joe inflation has turned our dollars into nickels. And in Michigan, we got 180,000 plus people that are in tax lien foreclosure right now. So even though I don't have a mortgage, I still got to pay the government to rent my house. And if I don't, they take it away. When I'm asked how I'm doing, I answer honestly, I say, I'm doing okay. But don't you remember under President Trump, we didn't have to settle for just okay. We were doing great. I wanted to make some improvements to my home, but with inflation and the price of materials, that's not possible. So I don't want to go into debt, so I just put it off. I'd also like to spoil my grandkids with some great Peepaw unique gifts for their birthdays. But with the price of gas and groceries, I don't do that. I settle for a cake and ice cream. Prices keep going up, but my income stays the same. I just keep putting things off, hoping that I'll be able to afford them again someday. It's got me thinking, I've been hoping for better days, but life is happening right now, and we can't waste any more time on the big boy Joe terrible economic policies. We need to bring Donald Trump back right now. We need to know and share the 20 promises that Donald Trump has made. We need to get involved with the Trump 47 and remember, ballots win elections, so that's the best way to do it.
For just a regular old Joe, he's a good speaker.
I know a lot of folks just kind of tune the politics out.
The president's
but we really can't afford to anymore.
It's a phenomenal plan.
Because we're not living in the same country that we grew up in.
And a lot of it he's done already.
Cutesy time is over. We need to, all of us, put our shoulder to the wheel and push along and get Mr. Trump, Donald Trump, to be number 47 again. Thank you, and God bless America.
He looks really good, doesn't
he? He sure does.
He looks like a guy who just ducked gunfire and, you know.
Yeah, he sounded good.
Bidenomics doesn't just have seniors worried. It has them scared to death.
Ready to go back to work?
Biden's inflation has retirees at risk of running out of money. The cost of groceries is forcing many seniors to choose between food and their prescriptions. Their Social Security isn't keeping up with inflation.
The crap we had to deal with, the financial.
It is definitely worth it.
Well,
are we back?
We could be.
Are we on?
Yep. We're back.
Well, we are back, and I think that was a remarkable speech, I must say, for as he described himself.
A normal Joe.
Just an old Joe. That guy can talk.
Yeah. Well,
he can introduce me.
From Western Michigan, yeah. He seems like he's squared away, and he's talking about the same issues you and I talk about. People today are 30 days from the street. They're trying to figure out, with inflation going up, grocery, milk, all these things going up. How do they have that? We were just talking about our kids leaving the best behind, and how do we get there? And the way we get there, the audience needs to understand, majorities matter. You have to win elections, because if you don't win elections, you can't change policies, and policies are critical. Trump has a 20-point plan to come out the door and change America back to greatness immediately.
Yeah. And the thing about that plan that people can feel good about is, even when you got a great candidate for president, it's still just a promise. I mean, he's already done most of it.
Well,
he's already done it, and he's going to have to.
He's done it once, right?
Yeah,
he's got to do it again.
He'll be able to do it again. Like if people tell me, can he close down the border? You're damn right he can close down the border. In fact, that's not even the hard part. It's going to getting rid of all the people. That's going to be harder than closing down the border. But he'll do that too.
It's that, but we also got to engage Congress and the U.S. Senate to finally get in a room and get the people together and fix legal immigration again.
Yeah.
Right? We've got to keep the brightest and the best here, and we've got to chunk out the people that are selling fentanyl and drugs and those sort of things, right? So we've got to get to that point. But you know, it's going to take people like yourself and others that are loyal to the president and to his mission and the commander's intent, as we used to talk about in the Rangers. And we got to execute. And you got to have people, and you're going to have to take flack. You know, it's not easy. You're a shellback now. You know, you've been beaten and haggard, and you're still standing. You know, hell, when I saw you, you were a young guy. You know, you had hair still, right?
Well, the reality is that when you do something like he's doing, you reform the government, change the government, you draw good people. That people say, well, who's going to go work for him? You'd be surprised. First of all,
I'll go for him.
First of all,
you give me a job, I'm going for it. I'll work.
At least 50% of the American people support him. That's a lot of people to go work for him, right? And it's going to be a lot more than 50%, I think.
Right.
I think he's going to win a very, very big victory.
I do too, and I think there's a lot of people, and I've watched, you know, I'll tell you what's unique that I watched the other night after this happened. I wanted to see what other countries were saying, what the BBC was saying, what they're saying in other nations,
right,
about what happened in America and trying to understand that dynamic. But when, you know, before we were on air, we talked about going to Israel and some of the things that I saw there. The world needs Donald Trump. The world needs America as their partner. They've watched this encroachment of China and the aggression of Russia and Ukraine. You know, when Trump was in office, we didn't have these problems.
No, we didn't. The idea, I mean, I feel that I can very adequately say to the American people that Joe Biden killed the people in Ukraine, that they would not have died had Trump remained president. None of those people in Ukraine be dead. Because Putin invaded 3 times under 4 presidents.
Right.
Bush, Obama, Biden. Somehow he didn't invade under Trump.
Well, you know, people give him a hard time because you've known him 40 years, so you know him way better than I do. I've met him once, but in that one meeting I had with him, we were working on a Veterans Treatment Court docket, and he was signing that bill, and we were trying to. He's just, I don't know how to explain it to your listeners. He's a different man sometimes than what.
He's very different.
Certainly what the left is going to tell you.
It really bothers me. It bothers me when they do these things. I was just, reading all the things they said because there's the argument that they helped to create the atmosphere that did this. But to call him Hitler.
For 8 years,
he's going to take away democracy. He was president for 4 years. He did not take away democracy. The guy who took away democracy is the guy in the
White House right now.
Right.
Right. Well,
he's the one who, for the first time in American history, prosecuted his predecessor.
Can you believe that?
And Trump had a much better argument for prosecuting Hillary.
Well, wait, not just him getting prosecuted, but all the good people that stood up with him, like you,
including me and my friend Bannon and Navarro and then
Flynn and everybody.
Yeah, and in the indictments that I'm in, I swear to God, there half the people I don't even know.
Right.
They're just people that who put their name up for something, and they are really vicious and mean.
I'm sorry you have to do that.
One guy showed up in Virginia a little late, and they held him in jail for 4 or 5 days, partially because he couldn't get a lawyer. He couldn't get a lawyer because nobody will represent anyone because they get thrown out of their law firm.
Wow.
Now this isn't America. They have created, in this sense, a fascist state.
Right.
And then but they are really terrific at this projection stuff, where they blame you for what they do. Like when they say he bribed the president of Ukraine. No, Biden did that, and it's on tape.
Yeah, we got it, but you can't see it, right?
Yeah,
it's just like his interview with the prosecutor or the investigator for the FBI. Like, I don't know.
I think they.
What do we do about DOJ? That's what I wanted to ask you earlier. How do we clean up DOJ in the new administration? What's the steps there?
Well, I
can think of somebody that would be good.
I saw it cleaned up after Watergate. I was there as a chief of staff to the Deputy Attorney General when Ford cleaned it up. You just get rid of a lot of people. When I became mayor, I got rid of 5,000 people.
Well, you know.
And then they said, oh, the city wouldn't run. It ran better.
You're right. And you made payroll a lot easier, right?
No, I think you just got to relentlessly get rid of people and bring in new people who are. Well, the Justice Department was pretty darn good just 20 years ago.
Right.
So I think you can. I worry about the CIA and agencies like that more than I do justice and defense. And
one of my constituents and neighbors, Ed Meese, he and Ursula are in my
yeah. Well, he
my
was
district.
part of a great Justice Department.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
Yeah.
So I've spent a lot of time with Ed and talked a lot of stories. So.
No, I mean, they were so different. The Justice Department was so different. The idea that you would prosecute for political reasons. I mean, either Republican or
Democrat.
Democrat.
You know, it started with McDonnell. If you think about our
government, and it was Smith.
Yeah,
and I maintain that's why Garland selected Smith, because he was the guy who could do it. He could frame somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's trying to do to Trump exactly what he did to the governor of Virginia.
Yep.
Which is indict him, don't give him any, deprive him of all the exculpatory information, give him a totally unfair trial because you don't really care about the trial.
And it was in the 4th District, which is one of the most liberal districts.
And there
in
you
the
go.
world.
And the other one would be in the District of Columbia.
Right.
He sure took a beating in Florida today.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
well that's great.
Ooh.
Right? We just
and the Supreme Court has tied him up in knots in the case in Washington. That hearing is.
But we that's a whole conspiracy, right? Remember how? The right has conspired to get all those Supreme Court justices.
Right.
You know, it's just amazing how they make this stuff up.
And as a lawyer, I don't even see a crime. I don't understand what the crime is. First of all, he had nothing to do with initiating or spurring on January 6th. He was just surprised. He was as surprised at what happened as we were, but also had a little better information, like I did, that it wasn't anywhere near as bad as they were making it.
Well,
they made it. I mean, it was the wrong thing. It was a violation of the law. We've had much worse ones all during 2020. Where nobody burned anything. It turned out nobody killed anyone except poor Ashley Babbitt, who was murdered.
Right.
Which they cover up. They just cover the murder up. How you can cover up a murder? You got to be a real criminal to do that.
Well, the other part is, and I wanted to bend your ear about it because it's in New York with the Judge Merrick. And how do you, as a former police officer and detective, I don't understand how you can indict somebody but not tell them what they're being indicted for. I don't understand that.
I don't understand it either. Only in a crooked city.
I just
a completely crooked.
You can
democratic
choose from 3 options. Like
yeah, right. You don't have to be unanimous. I said this is the first time since the 13th century that somebody was convicted on less than a unanimous verdict. People in England in 1340 were doing better than us.
I don't know.
When he said that, and then all of the phony lawyers in New York keep their mouth shut. I mean, you can't be a lawyer and not understand that you can't have a criminal verdict without unanimity. It's been part of our law since just about the Magna Carta. And second, the idea that you can charge him with he had a phony record created to further another crime, but don't tell him what the crime is.
Correct.
That's a complete violation of due process.
Well, you look, and the feds weren't going to take the case. They knew that they did what they should have done is deny the prosecution of the case. There wasn't enough there, right? Because as a lawyer, you're an officer of the court, right? And you have to adhere to that. You take the same oath that law enforcement officers take, military, support and defend the Constitution. You're held to a higher standard. And those prosecutors at the federal level said, you don't have a case.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get these corrupt prosecutors that did that to
and
him
they
there.
wanted and some of the people that turned down the case weren't too much. I mean, they were pretty bad. I mean, they were pretty prejudiced, and they would have gone pretty far to prosecute him. They just realized that it was a very, very bad case. And then the other one with the woman who claims that he sexually assaulted her in the most crowded department store in New York when he was one of the most well-known people in New York. And she can't give a date or a year.
Yeah.
Now, I know why she didn't do that. She didn't do that because she's a complete liar. And if she gave a date, there were probably better than a 50% chance he was out of New York.
Right.
Because
and
he
have the
traveled a
records
lot.
of that. That's right.
Yeah. Because I think about myself during that period of time.
And there's
if you
airplane
charge,
logs
if
and
you
everything.
charge me something, if you charge me with something in New York, there was probably a 6 out of 10 chance I wasn't there that day.
Right.
Plus, if she get a date, you'd be able to get all of the employees at Bergdorf's, and they would tell you nothing like that happened that day.
Right.
Because when he went into when a celebrity goes into a New York department store, the first thing that happens is the executive buyers show up.
Right.
The people who help rich people buy. And they're all over you. It's like you can't move.
Right.
Used to happen to me when I was U.S. attorney. I had no money. I said, get lost. I have no money. They said, no, you're just
Where's the
famous.
sales section?
That's okay. You're famous. We'll be with you. I can't go into a department store without two or three people in the department store wanting to help me with everything.
Right.
Now, he was, at that time, that was the height of his fame as a New Yorker.
After his, I think it was his second or third book. Right?
Yeah. So all of a sudden, he's gonna decide that he's gonna, in a public place,
right,
as the most well-known person in New York, sexually assault somebody. Yeah. It's crazy.
It doesn't.
The
fit
allegation is crazy, and it should have been thrown out because they didn't give him a chance to defend himself by not giving him a. She doesn't know within 3 years when it occurred, so she can't give him a 3-year period or a date. You got to throw that case out if you're fair.
Right. Well, they're not fair.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is the whole. But look where we are now.
But I think
we've got a great candidate. We're on the right track. I think the hard part, the hard lifting, that's going to come now is, Mr. Trump, President Trump, J.D. Vance, the group that's around him now. They've got to start looking at those cabinet positions. They've got to start looking at who's going to place where, how are we going to get this done, and put the, I hate to say it, put the team and the Army together that's going to go out and execute starting day one.
And what they've done to him convinces him that it has to be done.
Absolutely.
They've changed him. I'm not going to say he was naive, but he had no idea how bad it was.
No.
Neither did I.
He wasn't involved in politics.
I mean, I always felt I knew more about how bad it was, and I used to warn him. And he would say, yeah, I know. I said, but it's worse than you think. Now, if I go back to what I thought, it was nothing compared to what it really is.
But it's changed so fast.
I would
Even
never
in the
have
13
thought,
years I've been in office, I never thought I'd see where we are today.
I never thought the FBI would be like this.
No.
I love the FBI.
Well, they used to be.
I was their man of the year 10 years ago.
Right. Now, if they call you, it's like, oh, let me call my attorney.
Now they search my apartment and my
Yeah.
law office.
Right.
And found nothing.
Right.
They had to write a letter a year and a half later saying we didn't find anything. Well, then what the hell did you search it for?
Well, I have something I want to give you to thank you all those years ago for helping me.
Well, thank you.
My beautiful Vanna White here is bringing it
Oh,
to me.
Vanna, thank you.
This is my personal
You just went to
challenge for
Israel, dear?
We did.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So, thank you,
Yep.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
For all of that.
Here. Can we show everyone
Thank you, sir.
how beautiful that is? Yeah, state of Virginia.
Well, Mr. Mayor, it's been an absolute pleasure, a lifelong dream.
Oh,
to
Senate
follow
of Virginia, because you're the Commonwealth of Virginia.
We are the Commonwealth.
Like Massachusetts, but a lot different than Massachusetts, thank God. Oh.
Well, you know.
The
Well,
Commonwealth of Virginia. Yeah, great. I love that Commonwealth thing.
Well, anytime you're there, please.
Well, maybe we'll get there during the campaign. I mean, it's obviously.
I found a baseball stadium today. Big baseball stadium in Fredericksburg that hosts the Fredericksburg Nationals, which is the minor league team.
Yeah.
Perfect place right off 95.
We'll go to a game.
We'll go to the game. We can hold a rally there if you'd like.
I love minor league baseball.
Well, when you speak to the president tomorrow,
I'll let him know.
Tell him we're all praying for him. We thank him, and
I will do that.
Continue to encourage, and please don't take your bat and go home.
No.
It's time to go to work. So.
Yep.
You know, let's do it.
No, we're going. We're in it until the last vote is counted, and this time, someone told me when I was going through that, I said, when do you think the counting will be over? And they said, when Biden wins.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
All right.
I don't want to encroach on your time, but thank you.
God bless you. It was great seeing you.
Glad to stay in touch.
And I'm very encouraged with this kind of spirit in Virginia. You know how much we're counting on Virginia, right?
We got to pull it home.
Oh, if we can win Virginia.
We're actually getting things done. And a Democrat control.
Yeah. Well, it was quite a night. The highlight of the night, obviously, was the appearance of the president, which was remarkable. Those people. I think it probably was I do think it was the right thing for him to show up tonight because, I was thinking maybe a little bit more like engineering it, like wait a day, wait 2 days. But this was such a sincere moment that as soon as he could do it, I think he made the decision based on as soon as I can do it, I'm going to do it. And maybe earlier today he wasn't sure completely. I mean, but he certainly looks completely recovered. And he sounded that way on the telephone as well. And that was, I left there around 2, left the hotel at 2 to come here. I think it probably was around noon when I spoke to him. And as I said, he sounded remarkably good, which I fully expected because he always does. I mean, he recovers so quickly, and boy, you do need that in a president because a president is getting bombarded with unbelievable, earth-shattering decisions, and if you can't act quickly and if you can't act decisively, this country can be in great danger. I remember when John Kerry lost the election in 2004, and it was at the debate they thought he won, and he was asked a question about how he would react. How he'd react if we were attacked or something like that. I've forgotten the exact details of the question, but I knew he was going to lose the election over this. Bush may have answered it first, and Bush said, "I'll bomb the shit out of them." Make sure they never do it again. Kerry said, "Well, the first thing I will do, I'll bring my National Security Council together, and then we'll talk to our allies and make sure we have their support and get their advice and make them part of it." I said to myself, by that time, New York will be gone, and Chicago will be gone. And what are you talking about? What kind of a jerk are you? You get attacked. You react immediately, so they never do it again. And you hit them back so hard, they're never going to do it again. And when the debate was over, I was being interviewed by Chris Wallace, and they had determined that Bush had lost the debate, which I'm not sure he even did. But Wallace said to me, "How are you going to spin your way out of that one?" I said, "You don't even understand how badly Kerry lost this debate." And he said, "Oh, you didn't lose the debate." And then I explained what I said. I said, American people aren't going to buy that. That he's going to take 3 days to figure out what to do. By that time, you can bomb, every city in America. This is war, not left-wing tiddlywinks. You think of the people they have put up for president, boy. And we would say Al Gore. God. I remember in the middle of the attack of September 11 telling Bernie Kerik, thank God Al Gore's not the president. If Al Gore had been the president, our response to 9/11 would have been we would have hit one of Clinton's empty fields. The way he does now with the Iranians. They bomb us and we bomb empty fields. We need a president back. The whole world saw Saturday. You don't think they saw something different in that man than the thing we have in the White House? You don't think they saw something like so different, saying to themselves probably, how is he not the president? How do they have this demented little jackass who can't finish sentences, can't walk upstairs, can't fight for his country, gives everything away to everyone else, and has created a dependency society with no borders? What the hell's wrong with America? Well, there's a chance to put it all back. And put it back bigger and better and greater than it was before, because with both the experience of 4 years in the presidency and the way they've hardened him and made him wiser by the persecution of Donald Trump. He can be a remarkable president. He was already. But with this experience, I mean, you get to go back and improve on what you did before. You did pretty damn well before. I also hope that this stops not the criticism of they have a right to criticize Donald Trump's policies and to say his tax program is wrong and his policies on foreign are too aggressive or not aggressive or whatever. But let's stop this crazy sickness. I mean, Biden went pretty far when he said target him. And I'm saying if he weren't a protected Democrat, he'd be ruined now. With that statement about a week ago and then what happened now, where he was targeted. I mean, that was an awful statement. And his group of commercials that he had out, which they took down immediately, was scandalous. They were terrible. It is against the best interests of this country to try to convince the American people that Donald J. Trump's going to undermine democracy. There's not a single bit of anything that supports that, except for the fact that Biden has done it. And I take the single biggest example, which is when he changed the American tradition of not using the criminal law as a political tool. And for the first time in American history, he prosecuted not only his opponent in the prior election, but his most powerful opponent in the upcoming election. I mean, this is straight out of dictatorships, banana republics. Donald Trump didn't do that. He did. Donald Trump didn't pursue all of the people in the Hillary Clinton administration or all of her friends and put them under investigation, put them in jail, bankrupt them. He's doing that. So when he says, that we're in danger of losing our democracy, that's a cover. That's a cover for what he's done and what Trump will be able to straighten out. So today, two pieces of big news come out, right? Vance is the vice president. Looked very comfortable tonight. Didn't get to say anything, but he looked very comfortable in the role. And the president looked like the healthy horse that he is, having just come this close to going to eternity, huh? That does one of two things to you. It crushes you or it makes you stronger. And it's sure obvious what it's done for him, huh? So we'll take a short break and we'll be right back. So how we doing on time?
I'm excited to announce we're having a huge MyPillow spring sale, and here's a few examples. Buy one of our MyPillow 2.0s, you get another MyPillow 2.0 absolutely free. Made with cooling technology, the best pillow ever just got even better. And this just in, 9 brand new colors and styles of our Percale bed sheets. They're made with the finest long staple cotton, and now you can save 50% or more. That's as low as $24.98. And for the first time this year, I'm bringing you our My Slippers and Sandals for as low as $25 a pair. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your MyPillow 2.0s. Buy one, get one free. Percale sheets as low as $24.98. My Slippers and Sandals as low as $25 a pair. And for a limited time, when you order $75 or more, your entire order ships absolutely free. Mike Lindell here, and like you, I see our country being destroyed daily. We face massive economic issues, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are people in power who threaten the values that have made our country great. Well, I've been a believer in gold and silver for a long time, and I've searched for years for a partner that shares my values. Well, Genesis Gold Group showed me how easy it is to protect your IRA, 401k, or your retirement with gold and silver. Their faith-driven approach to service and stewardship is one that stands out from the rest. So call Genesis Gold Group now at 1-800-200-GOLD. That's 1-800-200-4653, or go to LindellGoldRush.com now.
The beef industry takes another blow as Cricket Burgers win America's best burger for the 4th year in a row. This comes after many major beef processing plants have shut their doors for good.
The beef industry continues to take a dive as cricket farmers skyrocket in demand. The insatiable insects have now overtaken cows as America's favorite animal. A market change that has even caused McDonald's to
Crickets have cows are now protected species, which means we will no longer be seeing beef cows to be put on the endangered species list.
And here's why that might not be such a bad thing. Consider this. Cows are harmful to the environment.
Cows will go extinct.
Introducing the all-new Prepper Bar. These 62.2 gram bars, perforated and easily broken into 3 denominations, will fit all of your needs. Perfect for asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or use it for bartering or trade. Prepper bars make an ideal gift for precious metal lovers. Available in gold and silver, these slim Prepper bars fit neatly into your wallet and can be used in any situation. As gold and silver prices surge and economists predict shortages, now is the time to secure your precious metals with Prepper bars. The only bar divisible into 3 different sizes for maximum utility, tradability, and proudly mined and minted in the United States, these Prepper bars are IRA eligible and will help you diversify your wealth. To order your own Prepper bars, go to www.frankspeechbar.com. That's www.frankspeechbar.com.
Welcome back to the Republican National Convention on Frank's Speech. We're going to go back to the floor in a moment and let you listen to the closing talk ceremonies. This is really a historic night. First nights are usually not very meaningful, but the entry of the president with his vice president, his family, after what happened just 2 days ago where he nearly was killed, has to be one of the great moments in convention history, and probably had to be one of the most exciting moments in convention history when you consider that, of course, a convention is made up of all the people that love him, right? And they thought they were going to lose him. I mean, can you imagine what it would be like here tonight if, God forbid, he hadn't turned his head? I mean, these people would be one giant wake for America. He is the hope of at least half of America, and probably more. But we certainly can say half of America. And to have him taken away with all the questions that surround the lack of security and the way it was done, So God saved him and God saved America. And I think we're going to see that come to fruition in November. But tomorrow we'll be back, be on the normal schedule, and then we'll be back with convention coverage at 5 o'clock our time and 6 o'clock Eastern time. Is that it? 6 o'clock Central and 7 o'clock Eastern. We'll be back 6 o'clock Central and 7 o'clock Eastern with the convention coverage, regular during the day, and I'm sure there'll be updates if anything happens during the day. Tomorrow's a pretty quiet day. I think it's a rules day. And a little bit on the platform, which has already been agreed on, and it's a really very good platform. It's only like 30 pages, so you can usually they do a 150-page platform nobody reads, and it's really the 20 points that Bryce was talking about. So we can go over that very quickly tomorrow. So let's go to the floor and see what they're doing to wrap up.
Stop me from raising my voice on behalf of American workers. I will not have one single regret. I still carry my commercial driver's license. I still have my place on the union seniority list. You'll find me back in Boston driving a tractor trailer, delivering equipment for Shaughnessy and Ahern, because I have the protection of a union contract that gives me the freedom to speak my mind and to fight like hell. God bless the greatest nation. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back RNC Chairman Michael Whatley.
Is this mic on? That's quite a big gavel he's got there.
For a benediction, please welcome Pastor James Remke.
It's a great pleasure to be here. Great pleasure to see President Donald Trump safe. And if I may, before the benediction, give you this promise. You're going to be so blessed. You're going to be tired of being blessed. I guarantee it.
Oh, he's a comedian. The Reverend is a comedian. Not bad. Not bad at all. I think he's looking for a new job.
Believe me. Let us pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Almighty God, you have given us this good land as our heritage. Grant that we remember your generosity and constantly do your will. Bless our land with honest industry, truthful education, and an honorable way of life. Save us from violence, discord, and confusion, from pride and arrogance, and from every evil course of action. We give thanks to you for keeping President Trump safe. We pray for the families of those affected by the demonic violence at the rally on Saturday. And we pray you would send your holy angels to guard and keep President Trump from all harm and danger. Grant that we who came from many nations with many different languages may become a united people. Support us in defending our liberties, and give those to whom we have entrusted the authority of government the spirit and wisdom that there may be justice and peace in our land. When times are prosperous, may our hearts be thankful. And in troubled times, do not let our trust in you fail. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you with favor and give you peace.
Very good.
For a benediction, please welcome from California National Committee woman Harmeet Dillon.
Thank you, everyone.
These last 48 hours have been some of the most intense, yet most prayerful of our lives. The heinous attack on President Trump and his supporters made all of us pause and seek answers and comfort. I come from a family of Sikh immigrants. I am honored to share with you, my fellow Republicans and guests tonight, a prayer from my faith tradition, practiced by over 25 million worldwide. We recite the Ardas prayer before any new endeavor, giving thanks to God and asking for his protection and help to uphold the values of humility, truth, courage, service, and justice for all. To show respect, we cover our heads when we pray. तू ठाकर तुम पे अरदास जियो पिंड सब तेरी रास तुम मात पिता हम बारक तेरे तुमरी कृपा में सुख कनेरे कोई न जाने तुमरा अंत ऊंचे ते ऊंचा भगवंत सगल समगरी तुमरे सूतर धारी तुम ते होए सो आज्ञाकारी तुमरी गत मित तुम ही जानी नानक दास सदा कुर्बानी. Dear Waheguru, our one true God, we thank you for creating America as a unique haven on this earth where all people are free to worship according to their faith. We seek your blessings and guidance for our beloved country. Please bless our people with wisdom as they vote in the upcoming election, and please bless with humility, honesty, skill, and integrity all those who conduct the election. Finally, we thank you for the Chardi Kala spirit that we have witnessed in President Trump. That is, the tireless and uplifting spirit that is sustained even in the face of violent adversity, like a founding father centuries ago. And we thank you, dear God, for protecting his life. We thank you for his examples of nirbha, fearlessness, and nirvair, the absence of hate when faced with vitriol. These examples of extraordinary calm inspire us. Nanak Naam Chardi Kala Tere Bane Sarbatta Pala. May your name forever be exalted, spreading happiness and blessings and good spirit, that everyone may prosper and enjoy the grace of your peace. Thank you.
Senator Vance, congratulations. President Trump, we are honored to have you here tonight, and on behalf of the entire Republican Party all across America, we are grateful for you to be our nominee for the 47th President of the United States of America.
What are they saying? We love Trump, all right.
The chair declares that the 2024 Republican National Convention stand in recess until tomorrow at 5 p.m.
There you go. So that's the closing of the first session. But by the way, Carmeet Dillon is Sikh, in case you wondering what religion she is. She was, I believe, either her parents were born in India or she was, but she's obviously an American citizen. She's been very active in the Republican Party in California, and she brought many, many cases for those people who felt they were discriminated against, and personally, I think, believe they were being persecuted during the pandemic with ridiculously onerous rules and regulations put on them by the fascist governor of California, which he, of course, never complied with himself. She's got quite a history. She's quite a lawyer, and I was a little confused about her religion also, so I looked it up, and she's Sikh. A very, very fine woman. So, great night. It's nice to see President Trump in such good condition after having had a very, very close encounter with death. And it's going to be very interesting to hear how it affects him and what the speech is going to be like on Thursday night. And then the 2 nights leading up to it, the platform, the vice president, get to know him. It's a convention that is extraordinarily happy, but there's a different feeling also. There's a feeling of great thankfulness to God. These are mostly religious people. Republicans tend to be considerably more religious than Democrats. And I would say the overwhelming emotion here is an emotion of thankfulness to God that he spared this great leader for us, and that he did get a chance at a moment in which you can't fake it to show what he's all about, what a great leader he is, in ways that I think are going to be historic images. So we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back at 6 Central, 7 Eastern, and of course, Frank's speech will be on tomorrow, and I'm sure they'll keep you up to date on everything that's going on here, among other things. So, God bless America.